don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, good evening. It is Turkey Day Eve, if you're watching this in real live vision. Yes, that is the correct day. Turkey Day Eve. Some people call it Thanksgiving. I guess it is Thanksgiving Eve. Turkey Day Eve. I don't even like turkey. Whoop, there we go. If you're watching this live, ladies and gentlemen, this is the 340th episode of the Political Spotlight. I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. As always, producer Kate is at the controls, making sure everything is running smooth. So we want to give her a shout out and a thanks for everything. We are thankful for Kate. Kate and I are obviously thankful for all of you. We understand that you could be literally anywhere. You could be slaving away over your stove or over the microwave or laying on the couch or in bed or watching anything else, but you are here and we are absolutely thankful for that. Thank you for giving us a little bit of your time. We understand how valuable that is, and we are honored that you've decided to share this time with us. Whether you're watching this live or at some point in the future, it's all good. Before we get into the show, I do want to ask you all to consider hitting the like button and helping us feed the algorithms. That's always very, very, very helpful. I also want to ask you to subscribe if you haven't, like if you do. Hit the bell, and if you're watching live, comment over on the right-hand side. We are very interactive, and we want to hear what you have to say. This only works if we're interacting with you, and I hear from so many. I went to Walmart today, and I was literally stopped by like 15 different people in my trip to Walmart, and all kinds of people. Old folks, I don't mean old, I mean old, longtime viewers, people that have been watching and listening since way back in the underwear days. You know, for those of you that know what I mean, if you know, you know, as the young kids say. And some of you been, some people that stopped me today were from the Perception is Reality era. And then I even had somebody that said they just started watching last night, and they actually binge watched several episodes yesterday for a very specific reason, and they're now a viewer now. So I then found somebody else that said they started watching. So it's always interesting. Needless to say, I love talking to each and every one of you, but I think I picked the wrong day to go to the store. So that's very true. But always love to talk to you. But what you need to do is you need to come over and comment here. If you're watching in the future, you're going to want to comment then down below. All right, so we're going to get straight into it, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a little bit different show. For all of our episodes, we come on and we tell you this is a big and important show, and we're talking about a really screwed up deal, and things are really whacked out, and things are wrong and bad and horrible. And that's true. However, what we're talking about in this episode absolutely is. I'm actually going to put our warning on for a moment. Our warning, not suitable for work and or children. Warning. And the only reason I say that is in just 1 second, we're going to be joined by our most amazing and wonderful Madison County correspondent, Dr. Katherine Callahan, is going to be joining us and tearing it up here on this Turkey Day Eve episode. And I'm trying to keep it a little lighthearted because the mood is going to drop. And I hate it's the holidays, but it's important to do it. It's hit the fan, and this is just when we need to talk about this. We're going to be talking about pretty serious topics this evening. And what we're going to be talking about may not be suitable for children. Although I think because of what it is, you probably would want them to be there. We're going to be talking about crimes against children. Specifically, we're going to be talking about crimes of a sexual nature against children. We're not going to be graphic or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about that. But I just want to give everybody the heads up. And we're going to be talking about how that's tied to some political figures and some public servant figures and what's going on. There's a serious issue. So without further ado, we're going to be bringing Katherine on, and there she is. Katherine, hello, welcome.
Hey, hello.
Hi, hello, how are you?
Well, I'm excellent, and I want you to know this is the best Friendsgiving ever.
I know, isn't it
so,
amazing?
Right, and so we're just going to share, and some of you are tasting things in the kitchen, so we're breaking bread over that. Some of you, and you know who you are laying in bed, and they've put me on the widescreen TV in their homes. And so I'm just excited about that. I love that Alva's here tonight. So he seems to be doing well, and I'm excited about that. Take that hourglass and put it to the Sunshine Kid, because there's a lot to talk about tonight.
There is. We're throwing the hourglass out. This is going to be... I mean, it's stupid to say this is going to be a long one. It's always a long one with Katherine. But look, this is the way I look at it. Nobody's got to, not nobody. Some people have to work tomorrow. And for those of you that have to work tomorrow, the doctors, the nurses, the military folks, the police officers, the paramedics, the people that are the true public servants, the ones that are out there busting their butts and busting their asses and making sure that the world is safe and protected. We thank you, we honor you, and we give thanks for everything that you guys do. But for all of the rest of you losers, like us, deadbeats, we're all going to be off tomorrow, or most of us, and so you don't have to get up and go to work. So we're gonna take our time and go at this topic slowly and give it everything that it deserves. And so you don't have to rush off to bed. Stick up, stay up, watch this. You can cook while watching this. You don't have to necessarily watch us. You can put it on down on the counter and listen to us while you're cooking. So I just want to say this, and then I'm going to let you run with it, and we can kind of go back and forth or whatever from there. But obviously, everybody is aware that there's been a problem in Madison County for quite some time, in the form of there is a former Madison County a former Madison County councilor that is currently on the run and wanted. Like, he's actually currently a fugitive from justice. He is wanted for Steve Sumner is actually currently wanted for he's charged with 13 different felony crimes, and he's wanted for 11 felony crimes and then 2 misdemeanor crimes against children. And it's the very, very worst kind. Not like any kind is good, but it's the very worst kind. These are children that were in his care, the children that were supposed to look up to him and count on him as a protector and as someone that was supposed to be there for him, while he's not necessarily, to my knowledge, charged with anything specifically against his wife. Or are they divorced?
Well, they are divorced. So
okay,
it's his
ex-wife.
And this show really is for Jamie Lynn and her kids.
Absolutely. Well,
So-
and while she, in the eyes of the court, is not a victim, she is definitely a victim of this. And so
so many people pointed the finger at her and said, he's our friend, he would never do this.
Yeah.
She was the problem, not him. And so, that's just heart-wrenching to see. And this is why so many people don't come out.
Absolutely.
Because it's always, people want to turn the victim into the villain.
Yeah.
And you're using the V word incorrectly.
Absolutely.
And so, and this is a huge problem. And Jamie Lynn has been invited on the show.
Yeah.
And when she feels moved, if she feels moved, she is welcome to jump on at any given time.
Yeah. I think she's doing some, like a lot of people, she's doing some Thanksgiving preparation.
Trying to put her house back in normal, give her kids a normal life. So she's prioritizing that before she can come on to this. I'm excited.
She does have the link, and if she's capable, we will accept her at any point. I just real quick want to say, just real quick before we launch into it, because I know that you're chomping at the bit. Obviously, the Sumner thing has been going on for some time, and we've talked about it multiple times. It should be talked about nightly, and it's a big thing. But then on top of that, now there's another situation that has been thrown into the mix. And as we're seeing right here on the screen, these are the charges that Sumner is facing, has been charged with. And so this has been going on, but now there's a new situation and a new problem person. And where we talk about Sumner being a former Madison County councilor, this new problem, as most of you are probably aware, is an Anderson City police officer. And this gentleman, the Anderson, not a gentleman, this asshole, this Anderson, former, or he's still an Anderson City police officer. He's on paid leave, or he's on leave currently. But they're
deciding if they want to pay him or not.
They're going to decide.
Like Sumner's, they paid Sumner's to sit on there, and until it was such a, and he'd even show up at some of these meetings. I mean, I don't know how people even show their face, right?
Yeah.
And then you're shaming the victims. It's just unbelievable. I mean, when Jamie Lynn presents to the courthouse on these meeting nights, these people look like they've seen a ghost or something.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, and I just briefly, because we're going to go through all of this, but I want to put his charges up there as well so we can see those.
Well,
and that's
I see Jamie Lynn has popped on, but I know you're putting the charges up. As soon as you're done with the charges, I sent you in Messenger. I want to start with the Indiana State Police post.
Yeah.
That's where I want to go after this. And Jamie Lynn, once we start talking about that, can talk about how she's been failed.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to do a lot of back and forth and comparison here.
This is the new guy, Joshua Lee. What? How do you pronounce his last name?
I think
Cincinnati or Cincy, so something like that. And he's charged with 4 counts: child solicitation, where he, the defendant, is over 21 plus years of age, and his victim or victims are between the ages of 14 and 16, and the solicitation was for fondling, touching, or further. And so there's 3 F5 felonies: child solicitation, where he was 21 years of age or older, and he was soliciting victims that were between 14 and 16. Besides being Anderson City police officer. The worst of the worst, he was a school resource officer.
Oh,
So
no. He was also a detective.
Yeah. So he's in his day job, he's a detective. But then, like a lot of police officers, they work extra security gigs to make extra money. And I think in his situation, he was getting money. Plus, it was like, a feeding frenzy. He was being thrown into the fish tank. It's like a fisherman, fishing in a barrel. He's there at school with all of these victims walking around, which is just absolutely disgusting. And then his last charge is obviously level 6 felony, official misconduct. And so, like Sumner, he is tied to some political aspects of this. So we're going to get into all of this, but you want to go ahead and bring, what do you want to do now?
So let's bring on the state police post, and then we'll read that.
Okay.
And then we're going to bring on Jamie, because she's going to talk about some of the comments on that post that she would be a better person than me to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put this in here because I actually have both of these, which would probably be beneficial. So I have the post from the state police, and then I actually also have the official press release from the Anderson City Police Department, and both of those are
this county has failed the people miserably. And they're getting millions and millions of dollars of grant money. They're getting overdose money. All this money is coming into this, and all they can do is focus on building a jail. Well, you better focus on putting those people in the jail.
Yeah.
And they could make money if they actually took bonds. This guy's out without any bond.
Yeah.
So
this picture, Indiana State Police post. This was a press release from the Indiana State Police Pendleton District, and this was posted yesterday, date November 26, 2024. Anderson police officer arrested for child solicitation. Anderson, Indiana. Earlier today, Indiana State Police arrested Joshua L.
Cincinnati,
50 years old, of Anderson, for 3 counts of child solicitation at level 5 felonies and official misconduct, a level 6 felony. Cincinnati is an Anderson police officer and a school resource officer at the Anderson Community Schools at the time of this alleged incident. The Indiana State Police initiated a criminal investigation in June. Okay, this in June. It's November, so
it started in May.
Yeah,
the reports came in May. So we have been paying this officer. The taxpayers have been paying this officer since May.
Yeah. While he's been alleged of all of this, and look, I understand allegations are allegations, and I know that there have been people, specifically people in law enforcement, who you might arrest somebody, and there might be a situation where someone is falsely accused. And listen, if someone is ever falsely accused, I think that's horrible. And I think if there's ever someone that is falsely accused, specifically of something like this, I've always said that rape victims need to be believed, and that's a very, very serious deal. So if you have someone that lies about that and is doing that playing games or trying to get even with somebody, that needs to carry the same weight as the crime, in my opinion, the crime being accused. So, I understand the need to ferret out what's going on and double check, but once you get pretty involved with this, it's easy to tell, okay, is this serious or not? So, the fact that this has been going on since May, June is just nuts. So it goes on and it says, at the request of the Anderson Police Department, after a parent made allegations of inappropriate text being sent from Cincinnati to juveniles while working as a school resource officer. The alleged incident occurred in May. Cincinnati was previously placed on administrative leave by the Anderson Police Department pending the outcome of the investigation. After reviewing the investigation, a special prosecutor from Grant County Prosecutor's Office issued an arrest warrant for Cincinnati out of Madison County. At approximately 9 a.m., Cincinnati turned himself in to authorities without incident. He was processed at the Madison County Jail, where he posted a bond and was released. The investigation remains ongoing. This is all the information available at the release time. Please refer all questions to the Grant County Prosecutor's Office.
Now, this is what I have a problem with this. There was no bond posted.
Yeah.
This is a lie. This is creative writing. This is deception of the people. So now you already have an officer who has deceived children. And now you have another, area of law enforcement who's deceiving the public.
Yeah.
Do you know that radio stations, news stations last night were reporting that he was released on bond? You even duped the reporters.
Yeah.
That is wrong. That needs to be retracted. An apology needs to be put out. It was wrong. And he is out on no bond. So, and I contacted several news channels. They did get back to me. They have corrected it since then. They apologized for that error. But it's so sad that it takes the people to hold all these people who are public servants accountable.
Yeah. Well,
and that's the problem with that. And then let's bring on, I don't know if you can bring up the comments that are going on that Indiana State Police, but it's going to be interesting on who some of these people are that are commenting on here. And Jamie's going to tell us about that. And then how she also has had huge problems with getting things done at the state police.
Well, yeah. Let me pull this up here, and then we'll get her pulled up. And while we're pulling this up, and while people are thinking about this, he was released on his own recognizance, and that means he's not made any promise to appear to court. I mean, obviously he signs the thing when he releases saying, yeah, I'll appear, but he's not under any, he didn't have to pay. His parents didn't have to put any money up for him. It wasn't any kind of anything being uncomfortable in any way.
So what bounty hunter's going to go looking for him?
Well, yeah,
if
right.
There's no incentive if he runs. I mean, it's almost like this friends and family benefit package that comes from Madison County elected officials is absolutely disgusting. And here's what I'm saying. I got 2 daughters.
Yeah.
So does somebody want to tell me for 6 months, has he preyed on any other children? And you know what? Here's the thing. Hold the fort. Alva, Joe Black, Stumblefoot, you guys sitting out there. It wasn't girls that he was doing this with. It was boys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I automatically assumed it was boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so who else what else has he been doing for the last 6 months with nobody watching over him? He doesn't have an ankle bracelet on. He can come and go as he wants. And you can say that these children can come and go as they want. You can say Jamie Lynn can come and go as she wants. But you know what? They are now prisoners with those memories in their head everywhere they go.
Well, a lot of times, I mean, sorry, we went wonky there for a second. A lot of times, people don't understand that the healing process doesn't really start commencing until the legal system has worked through, because these people have to deal with it every day until only really once it's gone through court can the healing process start. So if it takes another year for them to be able to find Sumner, or if it takes another fight, God forbid, however long this takes, it's going to be prolonging it. So I've got this pulled up. Let's go ahead and put this down here real quick and bring her on, and we'll start that back up. Hello.
How are you?
No, I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm good.
All right.
Good.
And people, I want you to know, I met Jamie Lynn just on social media.
Yep.
There's no big history. There's no big bond. This was just something that was done wrong. I felt that she was done wrong, and I felt compelled to hitch myself to her wagon, not the other way around. So everybody needs to be clear about that. She didn't hitch herself to me. I'm the one that hitched myself to her, because the way she has been made to feel, the way that she can't even go to her mailbox without looking over her shoulder. She can't get in her car without looking underneath it for the fear that Sumner's underneath there. She has no protection in this county whatsoever. When she calls for help, nobody seems to want to help her, because they would have to admit guilt.
Sure.
So the
Yep.
only way through this, and I've told Jamie, is to put it out there and let the people see.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts about the post on the state police page?
I'm floored. I'm floored. I mean, somebody obviously had to lie about that bond. And I caught that when I first read it. Let's say it was a mistake. Let's just say it was a mistake. Let's give them that. Did they not see it? Well, they read the article. Did they not spot it like we did and get it fixed right away? No, you had to call and get it fixed.
Yeah.
Well, it's been fixed on the
Same.
news channels, but it's still on the state police post.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Oh, okay.
It's
I guess
still
I
up
haven't
that
looked
way.
back
I
at that.
checked it before we came on.
Doesn't surprise me. Does not surprise me a bit. Not one single bit. Um, it looks like to me they started cover up from the start. And as far as like you guys were saying, as far as taking so long, like the 6 months, it said that they took his phone, which showed all the pictures and the texts. I mean, did that not give them any reason to, they still waited 6 months after seeing all that stuff?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I know how it feels.
is it
It
is it
happened here. I
normal?
walked in on it and it was 4 months before they did anything.
Well,
While
and that's the
state
thing.
police first let him live next door to me, and then
God.
they made him move pretty quickly.
Oh
But
no! Tell him how he got removed from next door. Who was involved in that removal?
so Rodney called Russ Willis,
Who's
who
our
called
prosecutor?
called Wes Likens, who went to their because he's his bestie, and he went and told him he couldn't stay there. But
So
Keith
Rodney
O'Donnell,
Cummings, the prosecutor,
mm-hmm,
calls Russ Willis, the head of the GOP in Madison County, who
mm-hmm,
then calls the biggest empire, Wes Likens' family, calls
yep,
Wes
they're
to
right
have
down
him
the
removed.
road.
What on earth is this?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So, and not only, like you said, worrying about him popping around here, his dad lives right next door. I don't know if he was retired or fired from APD. I'm wondering now because apparently he was fired from the prosecutor's office, but he's harassed me and the kids for 4 years, over 4 years now. So that's a continual thing. And they know about it. I've told Rodney, I've talked to Stephon Blackwell. They know he does it.
And what is Rodney's recommendation to you about all this?
Well, when I talked to him right afterwards, and I was staying at my mom's, and I had 5 kids, and I was shaking like a leaf, he told me to get a gun and go home. That was his original recommendation to me.
Now, the Likens, one of the biggest elected families in the county, are
Mm-hmm.
best friends with Steve Sumner's. They have given this man money hand over fist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They have poured and dumped thousands of dollars into Rick Gardner's campaign, Todd Culp's campaign. I mean, word on the street is they're the ones when you see all those amounts of loans that were given to them in their election. That's
Mm-hmm.
all coming from the Likens. This was
Mm-hmm.
all a cash exchange. But yet
Yep.
nobody can put up a reward to find Steve Sumner.
Mm-hmm.
Why do the Likens want him hidden so bad?
Well,
And to make
That's
matters worse, Diana Likens was caucused in to put in place of Steve Sumner's so
mm-hmm.
they could remain in control of the voting power.
And just real quick, we all know how they do that, right? I mean, I actually texted Russ when they did that and said, "Oh, you don't need me anymore." I didn't know at the time, but what he would do, and I believe that that's why he controls that precinct committeeman list and won't give it to anybody because he
sure.
uses that. So when he has a caucus, he would at least once or not once, but I remember 2 or 3 times, and I know once was Pete Hure when he got caucused in. He would appoint me precinct committeeman. I don't even know what a precinct committeeman does. So I would go to the caucus and vote with them. I didn't know they were doing anything wrong, but now looking at all this and that's exactly what he uses that list for.
Yeah.
Well, and the reason why he doesn't want the list out there is because if anybody gets upset with him, he
Yeah,
can switch those people up and not follow the rule of putting them
right.
in that position for the
Sure.
30 days so nobody
Yep,
can call him. He's not even turning into the state. And you know what?
right.
This is how deep it is because even the state is not making him turn that
Yep,
that file in and making sure they have it on file, which it
yes.
should be happening. I mean,
Runs deep.
this corruption is all the way to the
Yes,
top
it
and
is.
all the way to the bottom.
Yep, it sure is. It goes a long way. That's why, I mean, all this time, one, until I finally, had some, you guys have given me some backbone because before that, they had me scared to death to say anything. I
Yeah.
mean, the way the state police, and I'm Detective Klettheimer, treated us from day one. Just an example, we were talking about this earlier, as far as like it said, not only did it say he posted bond, but he turned himself in. What did it say? Without incident. They had to say like he's a super nice guy. He turned
Yeah.
himself in nicely. So when I got the phone call, when Rodney filed the first 3 level 6 felonies against Steve before it got sent to on for the other charges, Klettheimer called me and he said 3 level 6 felonies and we've issued a warrant. And I said, when I worked up there, it was A, B, C, and D felony. So I didn't even
Yeah.
know what level 6 meant. I said, so prison? And this is his tone. This is how he always talked to me. No, Jamie, his life is already ruined. And as far as letting him turn himself in, I said, you're letting him turn himself in? He said, Jamie, we're not storming that church. I said, it's not even a freaking church. But no, oh no, he got treated, I mean, like they rolled the red carpet out while
Yeah.
talk not just to me, but to my kids, um, like we were crap. I'm not kidding you. I mean, I'm not kidding you. But they had me so scared to death with all that that I wasn't saying a word to anybody. I was scared to death to say anything and trusting the whole process. I mean, like when I finally got a meeting with the special prosecutor back in July, which I have that full recording, it is terrible. I pretty much had to demand that. But up until then, which was almost 4 years, I didn't bug them about anything. I hoped that they would do their job. But no, I should have spoke up a long time ago.
The question is why is Madison County and the judges, why are they even have their hand in this cookie jar?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it says in there on one point, like, okay, well, we started it, but now we're going to dump it over here. And just like this whole thing, they're saying, is it out of Grant County? Is where they're saying
Yes.
this is coming, but yet it's our own judge in Madison County who's signing the order.
Yeah, which is really weird. And can I just say that our special prosecutor is in Tippecanoe, but our special judge, who once all those other charges were filed, including a level 1 and a level 3 rape, zero bond. And when I say zero bond, I mean zero, zilch, none. He was able, nothing else happened to him. Why would a judge in Grant County do that? I mean, so now that he has a special prosecutor in Grant County, I don't understand how that works. Who chooses them? But does somebody? I mean, my first thought was, "Whoa, Grant
Well,
County again?"
let me tell you how this works. How this works is the prosecutor gets to pick the special prosecutor.
Well, he told me he'd get me the best. That's what he said.
Right? And so here's how this is. Hey, man, I need you to take this case. Okay.
Hmm.
Well, then if we have something over here in our county, you'll take care of that for us. Yeah, man, we'll do that. I mean, this is what is going on, and it's absolutely sick.
You realize the Likenses have farmland up to Lafayette and up to Grant County. You realize they farm up that way. It reaches
Oh, I mean,
all the way up.
the lichens, I mean, there is a special for everybody who's watching tonight, and Chris, hopefully you'll put this up. There's a special webpage about lichens farms.
Hmm.
And it talks about the millions of dollars that they have taken from the taxpayers and ripped off taxes. Okay.
Yep.
It's very real.
Hmm.
The lichens have paid to put their own, they never had a web page, but they've put money into this other web page to see if they can drive down the lichens farms, right?
Hmm.
It still
Right.
comes up number 2.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the whole thing. If you're in Madison County, you need to look up Lichens Farms webpage. It will tell you the truth about what you're doing. When you vote for a Lichens, you might as well just
Yeah.
open your checkbook
That's right.
because they're coming in, they're swooping in land. We're going to show you what they were doing to finance Steve Sumner so he could get out of here.
Hmm. Yep.
So we're going to show you this whole shell game of how money's being moved and how things are being taken care of as we move on tonight. And
Hmm.
so it's the lichens need to be out of the political arena, period.
Hmm. Yeah.
The friends and family benefits package needs to come to an end.
Right.
because it's not just
Agreed.
money, it's everything.
Yeah.
You get to molest kids. You can steal homes. You can steal farmland, and then you can come back and say, "Here, I'll donate this farmland."
Yeah.
And look like a rock star.
Yeah.
People, if you believe this mask, this charade, you have drank Kool-Aid that you shouldn't be drinking.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, this is the perfect one here. The $150,000 gift. The $150,000 gift that the Lycans have taken from the taxpayers.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
So
It's
you want to
insane.
read that? So people, I mean,
Yeah.
his mother won the commissioner seat to make this go away. And
Yeah.
John Richwine, the commissioner, was hot on their heels to come together. And he was the vote that tipped the vote in order
Mhm.
for them not to have to pay this money back.
They
Yes.
ran her on purpose, and the plan was she was going to step down, and they were going to put Steve Sumner in her place. They were going to caucus him in, and they don't worry about caucusing anybody in because they know how they're going to do it.
Well, sure. It's as good as done.
Mhm.
So this says the Lycans gifted themselves $150,000 of your money, and this is taxpayer money from Madison County. Wes Lykins and Kevin Sipes sued Madison County in 2020 over redistricting boundaries. Madison County pursued the case to the Indiana Appeals Court and prevailed. The suit cost the county between $155,000 and $200,000. Pursuant to Indiana statute, the county was entitled to recoup the legal cost from Wes Lykins and Kevin Sipes. Unfortunately for the taxpayers, Wes Lykins' mom, Darlene Lykins, and her lapdog, John Richwine, are county commissioners. The commissioners voted to settle the case for $5,000, with Darlene and John voting in favor, while Kelly Gaskell cast a lone no vote. That's right. Morally bankrupt Darlene Lykins voted to absolve her son. Her son, like, think about the conflict of interest here, of at least $150,000 owed to Madison County. Did Darlene recuse herself? No. Despite previous recommendations from the county attorney, she voted on the matter. Who's stuck paying this debt? The Madison County taxpayers are paying Wes and Kevin's legal bill, thanks to Darlene and John.
And what happens is now they have moved to max the tax. We don't have money to pay this. No, because we're paying for all your guys' crap.
Yep.
I mean,
Exactly.
This is the problem. And the reason why they wanted that redistricting fixed, so that they could keep control of the voters, so that they could always secure their seats. And like Jamie Lynn said, they had a plan.
Yep.
The plan was Darlene's name is big enough. She'll win this commissioner seat because she was running against Phipps, who they didn't want Phipps back in that seat. He was the incumbent. So they put her in there at the age of like 78.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She wins the seat. And then they were going to take her out and put Caucus Sumner in. And then they were going to take Diana Lykins and put her in Sumner's seat, which that did go through, but not in the way that they wanted this all to go through. Yep. How long did Steve sit on that county council until he was removed when all this came out?
It was a couple months, wasn't it not, Jamie?
So, no, this happened in August, and he didn't step down. I was trying to find that. I watched.
It was like April or May.
Yes, it was April or May. Now, they had a meeting, and they made a resolution, but that was all they did. And that was probably, I was trying to find it a few weeks ago. It was like January, February. They said that they could not make him step down. He had to do that on his own.
Yep, they could not.
This is how much power you have when you're elected.
Yep.
You can't be fired.
No. Nope.
Well, the thing is, what's really important, because I'm sure there are people on here saying, wait, you guys are bouncing all over the place. What do the Lycans have to do with this? And I want to make sure people are aware. Listen, I'm a former police officer, and I've dealt with people that have been wanted and been on the run. And any of those shows or programs you watch, when people get out of jail, you watch the shows, I Almost Got Away with It. When people are on the run like this, very seldomly do you see someone just disappear and they're just gone, no trace? They're popping up, they're poking up, they're sticking their head around, they're coming around home, they're coming around people that they know because they got to get money. These people no longer have a way to access. They're wanted felons, they're wanted fugitives. They're trying to lay low, and there's very few ways for them to make money. So the only way that this guy has just disappeared from the face of the earth is if there are people out there that are helping him out. And we already know this is not like Kristopher Bilbrey making these assumptions or Katherine Callahan making these assumptions. We know for a fact, because we have the man's ex-wife here, he was wildly connected and close to the Lycans, and they would bend over backwards to help him out. They were all friends, they were all interconnected, and they would do things to help each other and to help him out. Is there any question in your mind that they would, if they were in a position that they could help Steve right to this very day, that they would help him? Do you believe that they would do that?
I do.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I can't think of it being any other way, because that's the connection that they've had. These people are all buddy.
They paid for his buildings. I believe in January. They bought his buildings that are up on Broadway, and by April he was gone. That was when he left, he was literally living. They put him in a house. They gave him a house to live in. Why they they have houses everywhere, but they put him in a house, I found out later, like a half mile down the road from me, on my road. And George told me himself when he left that he left a bunch of stuff in the house. I questioned George. Got it on. I have it on race 14.
I just sent you a video. And this is a video that was taken by Jamie. It's a 9-second video. Jamie was working the polls for me. Again, that was the first time I'd ever met Jamie, when she was working the polls. That was the very first time I ever met her.
Yep.
Listen to this video.
Okay. You sent it to me?
Yeah, it's in Messenger. This is how the Lycans just blow off. Evidently, he didn't know who Jamie Lynn was.
I haven't seen him for a while.
And this is disgusting. It's not a joking matter.
It's kind of windy out. Just so you know ahead of time, it's kind of windy out. But I went up and asked if I could ask him a question, just so you guys can know what you're getting right here, because some of it's kind of hard to hear. And I asked him how much he paid for the buildings he bought off of Steve. And then when he realized who I was, he said, "Oh, I probably shouldn't tell you." And I think you can hear the rest of it after that. But
we have the words on there too.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah.
And who is this that you spoke to?
George Lykins.
Okay, so this is George Lykins.
That's the brother-in-law to Darlene Lykins.
At the polls. The one that used to take Steve snow skiing out of the country. That one.
Okay. Here we go. Put the sound on here. If stuff starts getting funky, I might need you to help a little bit, Kate. Let me see here. All right. It looks like we're good now. All right.
My daughter's filming him and he doesn't know it, so it's kind of a weird angle.
Sure.
No, I've been told by authorities that you.
We always liked Steve. He was friends with.
No, I've been told by authorities that.
Wait.
We always liked Steve.
And he was friends. Wait, he was.
We always liked Steve. He was friends with.
No, I've been told by authorities that you guys are helping him, by U.S. Marshal and by state police.
Oh yeah, we're sending money every week.
I'm just.
We always liked Steve. He was friends with.
No, I've been told by.
We always liked Steve. He was friends with.
No, I've been told by authorities that you guys are helping him, by U.S. and by state police.
Oh yeah, we're sending money every week.
I'm just.
We always liked
Now.
Steve.
Oh.
So that it cuts off there. So let me ask you, is it his contention that he was being a smartass in saying that?
We have the whole video. Like,
is he being serious in saying? I mean, do we know? Was he being serious, or was he being a smartass?
We have no idea.
Opinion, it's hard to tell. But why in the world knowing who I was
Yeah,
and what
why
I
would you
was
say
saying.
that?
Right. That, to me, that's the biggest part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that that even came out of his mouth is just
This is the
weird.
arrogance, the
Yes.
Yeah.
ego, the
Yep.
power trip, the narcissistic behavior of the
Yep.
Lycans.
Yes. Yep.
And you
He thought it
wonder
was
why
funny.
this man drives around in one of those Tesla
Yeah.
whatever that's bulletproof. Well,
God.
I mean, this is horrible.
And it wasn't just me standing there. My daughter, one of the victims, was standing there. You know, I mean, he knew she was standing right beside me. So to act like that, I don't know, it's just not
I mean,
right.
that is absolutely insane. And so that is that whose brother-in-law is that?
That is
Darlene.
Darlene Lycan's brother-in-law
Okay.
and her husband's brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, and like Sean Smith saying, there's bank account records proving the Lycans were sending money to Steve, and those same records show the Lycans were sending him out of state. And so, well, I guess we should probably finish up on this Sensi because that's just out there. You know, show some of the text messages this guy was sending to these children. Why this went on and nobody did anything for over a month, I have no idea. Why this man doesn't have an ankle bracelet on, I have no idea. Why this man doesn't have a bond, I have no idea. I mean, why our own county judge is signing off him, I have no idea. I mean, this, and it's crazy because Jamie sent me something earlier that said they want you to take all your questions to the Madison County Prosecutor's Office. Why would they have anything to be involved in this? I mean, this is a huge conflict of interest.
Yep.
But I think the biggest part is when we're talking about the Lycans and how this all play, we want to show you who Sensi is related to. And I'll let Jamie, because she's been around a lot longer than me and knows the players a lot better. Who is this man related to? And I'll send you a picture there, Chris.
J. Mark Lawler. And I remembered that yesterday, right after I read the article, I was sitting there, I'm like, wait a minute. Mark Lawler is his stepdad. I knew right then. I knew. Not
And-
only with all the stuff it was not going to be good.
So for those that don't know or maybe have been asleep for a minute, remind them who that person is.
J. Mark Lawler was mayor in Anderson. I don't know how many years, but I think several, wasn't it?
Several years.
Yeah. He was in several years, and not too good.
Well, and that's the give me 1 second here. I was trying to get this thing put up. That's I mean, for everybody that's like, well, this is just conspiracy, you know. Okay, so you've got Sumner that was a Madison County council member and connected to Russ and connected to the Lycans and connected to Gardner and connected to Culp and to the whole bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got this gentleman who, you know, it's not like he was just like a construction worker, or it wasn't like he was like, you know, the mailman. He was a current active detective on the Anderson City Police Department, where in his extra work, he worked as a school resource police officer, and, you know, had the pick, you know, of any of the children. I don't know how many kids go to Anderson, but I would imagine it's quite a large amount. And he had kind of, you know, his pick, and, you know, you wonder why these things happen. Now, let me be very clear. In the state of Indiana, we have a bail schedule. So when you commit a crime and you're going into jail, that's why I always jokingly say when I go to meetings and things like that I take $250 with me, because if I was arrested for disorderly conduct or whatnot, it would take me $250 to bail out of jail, because the charge for disorderly conduct, covers a bond that would be $2,500. And so then there at that point, I would need to pay the 10%, which is $250. And that's why I say I always carry that with me. So when you commit a crime in the state of Indiana, except murder, and then there are a couple of other things, and there are times that they can ask for bail to be, we don't want to give this person bail or whatever, but murder has no bail. And then there are crimes that have attachments, and kind of like it's like in this range. If you've committed this crime, it's this range. So for the fact that Sumner, what was his bail?
Here, when Rodney filed the first three level 6 felonies here, it was 5,000, and then after that, then after that, 0.
So it was 1,000, and then when all of the additional charges were filed, then he had 0 bail, which is absolutely insane. Now, they could not have made him pay more bail on the charges that he was already given, but anything extra, he most definitely could have and should have had to pay bail on.
It got a whole new cause number.
Yeah.
That's what alleviated even the little bitty DUI bond he had. He got a whole new cause number. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And Stumblefoot talks about bondsmen. I don't think we use bondsmen in Madison County anymore. They've kind of been put out of business because somehow the court wants to keep all the money inside the court now. It's a new thing. So the bondsmen are kind of out of business in Madison County.
So Alice isn't a bondsman anymore?
No, because something's changed. I don't know the whole story. I'd heard bits and pieces. I don't know if Sean's watching, if he remember, but they've removed those bondsmen and they're making them pay it all in the court system to keep all that money in their control.
Of course.
I find that to be, that's just wild.
Yeah.
Jeez, who thought of that?
So, but I mean, the kicker is though, Jamie, is that he's out right now. There's no bond on him at all.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yep. And if it's anything like, I told everybody, prosecutor Kledheimer, everybody, he has 120,000 free flying miles. And I gave him a bank statement shortly after that showed he was out of state more than he was in state. And nobody cared. So if they think this guy is, he's going to be gone. His dad's in Florida. I mean, he's going to be gone.
Well,
and my understanding is as the ex-mayor, he took a large sum of money with him. Like Lawler came into office just mediocre, but he left very, very wealthy.
Wow.
Is my understanding.
Like a lot of other politicians, they somehow managed to weasel that into money. So just briefly, here's a picture of this piece of shit. Joshua Sinsney, Anderson City police officer. Again, count 1, child solicitation for fondling, touching. Victim 14 to 16 years old with a defendant of 21 plus years of age. Police officer, mind you. Level 5 felony. Count 2 is the same. Count 3 is the same. And then count 4 is official misconduct and performance of the public servant's official duties. A level 6 felony. That's him. Okay. Stephen Whitmer, to my knowledge, because in Delaware County, we still use bondsmen and all that. So that weirdness that they're talking about in Madison County, that is just a Madison County thing. That's not going on. At least it's not going on in Delaware County. And then here is Steve Sumner. And he is still wanted, man. This is a wanted fugitive. So if anybody is out there and you have any knowledge of where this asshole is at, contact somebody. If you don't want to get involved, I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't want to call the police, if you don't want to be involved, pick up your phone and text or call me right here. Tell me where he's at. I will call the police. I'll say, hey, I know he's there. I'll take all of it. I'll do any kind of report. They can give them my name. I'll do whatever. If you know where this dude's at and you do not want to be involved, there are ways that you can get around being involved. Send a letter, send an email, text me. I'll let them know, and I'll keep you. I'll do my very damnedest to. I won't turn your name in. No one will have to know. It'll just say I found it. I stumbled upon it. So whatever. There are ways that you can do whatever. Yeah, Steve's not even on Madison County Sheriff's Most Wanted list on their website.
Nope. I saw that yesterday. Yes, just saw that.
What in the hell?
I didn't even know they had a wanted list, but I got on there looking for something else. And when the Cincinnati thing came up, and I was like, wait a minute. Yeah.
There you go. What Sean's saying right there.
Madison County will not accept bonds from bail bondsmen. Has to be paid directly by the
Wow.
person or the family or whatever.
You know why?
What they're doing.
Because these families probably can't show receipts. They're probably thinking they can. So then the courts can say, "Oh, we're missing it. Oh, we didn't get it." I mean, this is money laundering, and it's legal. I mean, and that's what people don't understand. I mean, these people are out of control. I mean, what they're doing and how they're taking advantage of the people. I mean, now they're going to keep all this money inside their own little racket. Now,
Yep.
well, really quickly, and that's a good thing. And this is way off topic, but this is important for people to know. If you are ever arrested for something, and I don't care if it's Madison County or Delaware County, I don't care where you're arrested. If you pay bail, if you bail yourself out, or if your parents or your wife or your sister or brother or coworker or somebody bails you out, and you do what you're supposed to do, number one, if they never file charges on you, if it just goes away and nothing happens, if they decline to file charges, if you were arrested but nothing comes of it, or if you are charged but you do what you're supposed to do and things, they're supposed to give you that money back. When I was arrested for disorderly conduct for speaking in the Winchester City Council meeting, and I bailed out of jail of $250 to bail out of jail, they did not file charges against me, and I had to fight these assholes for months. They did not want to give me the money back. They refused, and we had to fight and fight and fight. We finally got it back, but they will do everything they can to bend over backwards to keep it. So just FYI, if you bail out, and you do now, if you bail out and then you take off down to Jamaica or something, you're out the money, but you got to do what you're supposed to do. But
now,
that's an aside. Go ahead.
I want everybody to be clear. Steve did not pay his bond. Okay, does everybody understand this?
Yeah.
Does everybody know who paid his bond? It was the taxpayers. Because Jamie, you're gonna have to help me on this one. Auditor Rick Gardner,
listen to this.
cut him a check that he is supposed to pay the taxpayers back once his divorce is final.
Mm-hmm.
And what was that amount? Was it 10, 20,000? How much?
It was somewhere around 10 to it was.
That
so
was for
folks,
his criminal case, not divorce. That was for criminal.
It was for the criminal case.
Yeah,
it was for the criminal case.
An expert witness or expert.
It was for
something.
the expert witness.
Now you can say that it's never been paid to the taxpayers, and because this case has never gone to trial, ultimately, if you look at the big picture, the taxpayers paid for his bond. We paid for a child pedophile to be out on the streets. The taxpayers.
He probably used that money. I never even thought about that.
Think about the big picture of all that.
Wow.
This is a problem, people. Madison County is out of control.
Back up. So when you're saying he used that money, he only used what, $1,000 of it?
For bond?
Yeah.
Well, his bond was $5,000. I thought you paid 10%. I've never been arrested.
Okay, so his bond was $5,000, so he paid $500. So he paid $500 of that. So the other $9,000
left over.
The other $9,500.
His dad paid the $500.
Yeah.
Yes, it's sitting in account. I mean, there's it's still. But the fact is the taxpayers have never gotten that back.
Yeah.
So ultimately, it's still sitting over there. The taxpayers have paid for it. What is going on in this county? We're paying for the Likens, who are filthy rich, who can pay that settlement. We're paying for child molesters to be out of jail.
Yeah.
We're not even collecting money on a child molester whose dad was the ex-mayor and he was a cop. I mean, are people like connecting the dots here on the corruption that's going on in Madison County? I mean,
so
Bree mentioned
obvious.
Where's this guy's OWI? It's completely vanished from my case. I mean,
gone.
This is craziness.
Mm-hmm. It is.
This county is out of control, and the friends and benefits package has to come to an end. Mm-hmm. And somebody got on me today. The problem is we keep electing in the same ignorance.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And ultimately, somebody said, well, no, it's not, because they're cheating the machines. And so it's not really us, and don't blame the voters. Let me tell you something.
Oh, come
You can
on.
only cheat for so long.
Yeah.
If you show up in the masses, if you show up in such a big mass that you're voting for the right person, they can't. There's no way they can cheat because it's swung too big of a pendulum.
Yeah.
So
people
I
are
just
not
want people to know.
informed. People are not informed. You have people who will say, I'm pissed off about this. I'm pissed off. And I go on for months and months and months. IndianaVoters.com. It takes you 3 minutes. That's all you got to do. File run up. And then they message the day after the text and say, oh, I forgot to go vote. Or I forgot to get registered.
Is that open
Or
right now to register to vote?
you can register to vote right now.
I will get on that. I'll get my son on that.
Oh, yeah. Yes. You can register to vote right now. You go to www.indianavoters.com, and anyone in Indiana, that's an Indiana thing, all 92 counties, you can vote. Now, there's no election until May. The next time you will vote won't be next year, but it'll be in May of 2026. So we've got a year off, thank God. But I'm telling you, there is someone out there who's hearing me say this right now, or who will watch this in the next couple days or weeks, and they will say, oh, well, I've got time. And then come the day after the May election, they'll be like, well, I screwed up. Happens every time, and it is what it is. But yeah, that's the problem is you get elections have consequences. And you get the people, you get what you get, and you can't throw a fit unless you're willing to go out and work and do what you got to do. We do this. There's people that run that stop this. Todd Culp shouldn't be going into the auditor's office. And if you are from Delaware County, or you've been paying attention in the last couple days, it's not just Madison County. Delaware County's auditor's office is screwing up lots of things. The auditor's office is very, very important. It's very vital. And, you guys had a chance to send somebody who gave a shit to the auditor's office. And, it just didn't go that way. It is what it is. But, people have to be willing to do the hard work. It's not fun. This stuff's not fun. I'd rather be talking about music or history or, sitting on my ass and watching a TV show. But it's important to do the hard work. And this is the hard work.
Can I tell you what I see, at least here? I mean, I'm obviously only in Madison County, but I just think this is important because what I see so much in comments and in people, they literally worship these people. They worship Rodney. And they don't even want to listen. And I guess I wanted to say that because you can ask Katherine. I because of who my ex was and all these years in politics, I was friends with these people.
Sure.
I worked with these people. I've known Linda Smith. I mean, I've known them a long time, and some of them were good friends.
Yeah.
And it has been hard for me to think, one, that any of this could happen. I live in the twilight zone, but that these people are really like they are. It's hard to do that. And that's what sometimes I know one guy I kind of got after last night, but I get tired. Well, Dudley that gave him no bond. Oh, I've known him for so long and he's such a nice guy. Listen, you go through something like this and you will realize that I don't care how nice they appear. There are people that still think my ex is a nice guy. You have to look at the receipts and the proof, and you have to be willing to say, no, no, I don't care. I don't care how white their teeth are. They're dirty. And I guess I want to say that because it has hit me hard to see that reality. And I just want people, if you're doubting some of these people, look at the receipts. Don't go by how nice they are.
What people need to understand right now, as this is coming out about this Senate guy.
Yeah.
Jamie Lynn is reliving the whole thing again.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Every time there's a child or molester that's posted or a pedophiler, she has to relive it, waiting for when is it going to be her turn that it's Steve Sumner. That's what people need to understand. It's not that she's just sitting here going, when are they going to find mine? When are they going to protect me?
Yep. And I want to fight for those kids that he did that to as much as I want to fight for mine. It just amplifies how they don't care about these kids. They didn't protect mine, and they're not going to protect them. And those, just like Katherine said, those boys, he might not be in jail, but those boys will be in a jail, in a prison, in their mind, their entire life, and they don't care. They don't care. I just don't understand that. Forget me. These kids.
Right.
I
But
mean,
I can tell you this, if it was Rodney Cummings' daughter, if it was one of their kids,
oh
let
yeah,
me tell you, they'd be in the gas chamber.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Heads would roll. Heads
Yes.
would roll.
Yes.
Yep.
What's
Totally
up,
different
Kate?
ball game.
So I was looking at election results for Madison County.
Mm-hmm.
So there was 62% turnout with 56,000 ballots cast in the general election. More than half of the people, 30,000 people, cast a straight ticket. 2/3 of those were Republican tickets, which means there
There
were
you go.
20,000 Republican votes. So if you go and you look at the actual election results and you
Wow.
look at a contested race like county commissioner, Rick
Yep.
Gardner and Ollie Dixon and Marquest Higgins. So Ollie Dixon came in second with 16,000 votes.
Look at county council. Look at Rebecca Crooms. Look at Fred Reese. I mean, you just
Rebecca
can't compete.
Crooms had 17,000 votes. Those straight ticket Republicans won every single race because
Sure.
people are
Yeah.
lazy and say, oh, the Republicans are wonderful people. And so
Yep.
I'm just going to go in and blindly do it.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And those Republicans, those are the Likens. That
Yep.
Yeah.
nice family over there who's
Yep.
ripping you off.
Well,
Trust
It's
me,
that
they
nice
put on a
family, the
front,
Colts.
people.
You know,
Mm.
post that picture that I just sent you last in Messenger right there. Put that up. If I hear another person say, okay, now this one's not the last picture. This picture is how well connected Cincinnati is. He's there. You got
Oh,
Tim
yes.
Lannon, who's a city attorney, who is an what is he? Was
a state senator.
I mean, this is the Lawler family. The Lawler family is the stepfather to this guy. And my understanding is he was like 3 when he got into the Lawler family, this guy. So right here shows you how deep these tentacles are. Actually, it tells you how deep this cancer is.
Yeah.
It's in a cancer. And look how happy these people are. Oh, they're all still friends.
Oh, yeah.
They're all thick as thieves.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Broderick's not in that picture.
But I'll tell you this.
Should have been.
Yeah.
These men, these boys that he has hurt, they'll never laugh and smile like that.
Yeah.
No.
Right
Nope.
here is what Todd Colt. People want to talk about that I'm upset. I'm not upset. I'm not angry. You just put in a guy who's about 50 years old that filed for bankruptcy, and he's blaming the 2008 recession. And then he's running around saying, let's max the tax, Madison County. So you know what? Have at it. It doesn't bother me. I mean, you get what you wish for.
Yeah.
You want to vote for the nice guy. Don't complain that you guys can't afford to pay your property taxes.
You think that would tell them something? You know,
Right?
Can they not see that on their own? I mean, without being on Facebook, that something's not right with their taxes.
I mean, he's on there saying, we got to max this bridge account out. We got to max this. We got to max this. These people do not know how to live within their own means with their own money. Do you think they're going to be responsible with your money?
Yeah.
You know, and so this is what you keep electing. And then while they're patting each other on the back, they're over there patting some kid's ass.
Yeah.
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 I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. And I'm telling you, if this would have been my daughter, I don't know that I would have been all over the place. I mean, look at how I am now with complete strangers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, this is just out of control, you know? So do you want to show some of the text messages this guy was sending some of these kids?
Yeah.
Who talks to kids like this?
Yeah. Right. Well,
hey, I got to hop off a second. I'll be in the comments. If you want me to get back on, let me know.
Yeah, your thing. All right. Thank you, Jamie.
Okay.
Bye. All right. So let me get rid of that there. Okay. So did you send them to me?
Yeah, they're in Messenger. But, you know, like Sean Smith says, what the Likens do is they buy votes, right? So they wait around election time and then they just start donating stuff. So like at the hospital, they owned a bunch of the farmland by the hospital. So they needed a bunch of those votes. So what do? They got the way they acquired the farmland was corrupt in the first hand. Then they donate it back to the hospital. Well, then they're like making all this, oh, look how wonderful they are, putting them all over the paper, right? Well, then the Lycans take millions from farm subsidies, and then they donate a pole barn to the 4-H fairground, and everyone worships them. Their name will be a big plaque up on this pole barn over at the 4-H fairgrounds. They're the most corrupt family ever. So I hope that in the future, when that pole barn's standing there and that plaque's on there, somebody's going to need to say, the Lycans family, always supporting the child pedophilers.
Yeah, right.
I mean, eventually that's what it's going to be. I mean, how do you think these families feel when they know who you've supported and what you've done, and then they see your name on a barn? I mean, the only reason why they want this jail to go up the way it is because when they go to jail, their name will be on the front door as supporting to build it.
That's crazy.
I mean, look at this. This guy's.
This was congratulations to my son, Joshua Cincinnati, for his 28-year anniversary serving the Anderson Police Department. Forrest, your family is proud of you. Thank you for your service.
This is the ex-mayor and his wife. And this gentleman here is Merle something. And somebody wrote today that I guess he's got a lot of corruption behind him. And all his family is still working over at the city. This was Mark Lawler with his wife in her younger days. But people need to understand, Lawler eventually, I don't think he fulfilled all his term on his final run. He was having an affair with his secretary, who was also married, and that became a whole big debacle.
Jesus.
And so to save his marriage, he got out after taking so much of the money that he could from the taxpayers and went and lives on the ocean in Florida. You know, here, I mean, this shows you how strong they were in the court system.
Well, 3 fathers of future Anderson mayors and a father of a sitting county judge, seated as Judge Carl T. Smith, Prosecutor William Lawler, and Assessor Tom Broderick and George Pancol Sr. circa the midnight. Dude, this is just like I could do the same thing with Muncie.
Family, people.
Yeah. This is dynasty.
And not distant family.
Yeah. Yeah. What we're seeing here is these dynasties that just, it's the same thing. Folks that are watching from Delaware County, that, you know, it's the same thing, man. It's just, you see this and it's absolutely amazing.
And that's the thing with Lannon. He sits on the election board.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, do I need to send you the?
No. Let me go see if I can go back and find it here.
I mean, the people, and yes, you know, donating that land. Of course, they listen. The Lycans aren't doing anything that they're not getting something out of it.
Oh yeah,
they're not doing anything out of the kindness of their heart. Stumblefoot ain't ever going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. You know.
Yeah.
Tim Lannon sits on the Democrat election board, so he still has a lot of power in Madison County.
Yeah.
So, you know, and he's an attorney. So let's just be real clear about that. I questioned Lannon about the fact of why Russ is in those election rooms when he has an active case with the Indiana State Police.
And Lannon just kind of blew you off, right?
And he just blew it off. You know, one of Lawler's uncles was arrested years ago at Shadyside Park for gay actions in the park. I don't know if that's true or not, and it may very well be. But to Carrie's statement, I'm going to tell you clinically, what we find is children are a product of what they live.
Yeah.
So this guy probably did not just come to this epiphany, you know, just now. He had to be exposed. Something had to be going on in his childhood, or he wasn't protected. And I'm not saying it even had to be in his family, you know, people, friends of families, and maybe the parents never knew about, I don't know. But I imagine that this is deeper than this guy is the first part of the family that's ever done this.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so this is a big problem. This is good.
Okay. So this is definitely like
this
one of
bothers
those
me. This 8-3 of 22.
Yeah. Yeah. This was sent. This is between the dates of August 3rd, 2022 and June 2nd of 2023. So we're not talking about this year. We're not talking about like the year before. We're talking about all the way back in 2022.
So it's really not the 6 months everybody thinks.
Yeah,
it is.
right.
See this
Yeah.
illusion? See, you don't see this in the paper.
Yeah. Where do they put any of this out? Okay. And so I'm gonna say that this is coming from the I would assume that this is coming from the probable cause affidavit. I'll have a copy of the probable cause affidavit. It'll be first thing Monday because of the holiday, but I'll have the probable cause affidavit. Now, I'm going to tell everybody. So the deal is, and people, it's real strange. In the state of Indiana, when there's victims or children, when the victims are minors, they've got to do, or it's domestic violence with women, they've got to do what's called green sheet. They got to put it on a green sheet. So the paperwork is, what does that mean? It means your computer printer paper, which is white. Everybody knows, well, that's white and that's all adult. Anything that is done on a green piece of paper and it's actually green, that stuff that is protected. And so their actual names go on the green pieces of paper. Anything that is put on white paper, it has to be their initials. And by law, the initials are releasable because it's having two people's initials. You wouldn't necessarily know who that is. I wouldn't know any of these people unless I just happen to know a victim. That being said, a lot of people still try to go out of the way to protect even the initials. So anything that you're seeing here that's covered up, we're not covering anything here on you. The only thing that's covered up are the initials of the victim.
I thought it was so strange that they wrote VN3 and then put the kids' initials in there.
Yeah, well, because, and I'll tell you why this, I'll tell you exactly why this happened, and I guarantee you this is what's going on. Whatever time this investigation occurred, whenever the officers writing this off of the notes, maybe they knew victim number 1 and victim number 2 was just as a phone number, so they didn't have an actual name behind them. At the point, it was just victim 1 and victim 2. But like, say for instance, they knew who the third victim was, or whatever. So that's probably what that is. That's what I would have done if I was doing this report and I didn't know 2 of the victims, but I knew one of them. I would have done the same thing. So, okay, this goes on. And it says between the dates of 8/3/22 and 6/2/23, and then 8/2/23 and 6/9/24, Joshua L. Cincy, a public servant with the Anderson Police Department, committed official misconduct when he knowingly committed an offense in the performance of the public servant's official duties as a school resource officer at Highland Middle School. All of the aforesaid male juveniles stated that Joshua Cincy was a police officer at Highland Middle School when they first met. Besides the solicitation text messages mentioned above, the juveniles provided further information in their forensic interviews. So anytime there's a sexual crime, a rape, a molestation, they do a forensic interview, and it's just a little bit of a softer interview at a place, and there's special training. It is what it is. All right. Victim number 2 advised that Josh would tell the group in person that he was going to touch their butts. When victim number, dude, listen. and this idiot literally sat down and said, well, I was just saying stuff that I heard other kids say. This
is a grown man.
Yeah, 50 plus years old. And I mean, are you for real? There was a police officer that was the resource officer when I was in school, and he was a resource officer. And he was a police officer from Albany Police Department, and he was a doty-do. This dude was like the dumbest of the dumb person, and he said and done a lot of dumb shit. and said things that might have been questionable, talked about when he was young, maybe talked about when he was questionable smoking dope or whatever, a little bit of pot, but he'd tell kids not to do it. But he never, if I was sitting at the lunch table and the cop would have came over and said he was going to touch my butt, I would have caused such a ruckus. Dude, I can't even begin to explain. So, okay, going on, it says, Victim 2 advised that Josh would tell the group in person he was going to touch their butts. When Victim 2 was reading the text messages sent to him and he read the portion about getting his balls rubbed, he stated that Josh would say stuff like that at school. Victim number 3 stated that Josh would say questionable things to them at lunch. Victim number 3 advised that Josh asked him face to face if he caught Victim 1, quote unquote, beating his meat, and made comments about what he would do sexually with his girlfriend. During Victim number 3's interview, they spoke about the text regarding being slapped with a hard cock, quote unquote. Victim number 3 advised Josh would make comments like that face to face. And again, I want to apologize for the graphic nature, but this is what it is. Someone advised Victim 1 to engage in any fondling or touching intended to arouse or satisfy the sexual desires of either the child or the older person. When he texted Victim 1 to put shampoo on it after asking him if he rubbed one out, masturbated in the shower. At the time of the event, Victim 1 was 14 years of age. I mean, it's rough.
And there's one more text message that's pretty
Let's see here where
explicit. It'd just be a short caption. I can send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me again. Because I don't
Here.
know where we're at in here.
There's just so much material to all of this, guys. You guys have no idea how deep this corruption truly is in Madison County. It's just unbelievable. Okay, so I just sent that to you. You know, I went over this with my daughters at dinner tonight, and they just said, we want you to know that our Thanksgiving dinner, we really would prefer not to talk about child pedophilers, molesters. Can't we just talk about something fun, like where we could go on vacation? And I'm like, no, you need to be aware of this so you can be an advocate when you are running into these issues. And so I'm going to teach you. And they're like, these are disgusting text messages that you are reading to us.
Yeah.
They are mortified by it.
Well,
But I can tell you this, they're going to be big advocates in the future.
Yeah, let me tell you this, and I get where your daughters are coming from. I remember my brother, which by the way, to my first brother, I've got two brothers. The other day, the 18th, was Jacob's birthday, and I told him happy birthday. My brother in Italy, today's his birthday. Happy birthday to my brother from another mother. I mean, my brother from another father. Happy birthday, dude. And damn, you're like nearly 40 now, so holy crap. Anyways, my brother that's birthday, Andrew, I remember when he was in college, and I'm like 3.5, 4 years older than him, and I would be like, so like trying to talk to him about politics, and he was so like, he used to get mad at me. He's like, I don't give a shit. I don't want to hear it. Quit talking about it. And then like literally 1.5 years after college, he was like calling me up and like, so you blame all of this on that brother, because he was the guy that told me I needed to do a podcast. So like he switched the flip switch. So it will flip for your daughters, but I can understand where they're coming from. So this is the third. This is and understand that this was a police officer. This isn't just any regular person. This is a police officer who's entrusted with protecting and serving the public, and moreover, the very most vulnerable of the public. And he went into schools to protect these kids that he was violating.
And I want people to see the biggest flaw here. It says on 5/29/24, but when you go back, it says this started in 22. Now I get it, the mother just, stumbled upon this,
Yeah.
but why is this guy out on no bond with no monitoring system or anything? He
Yeah.
knows how to run. He's a cop. Steve Sumner was a cop. I thought, or firefighter or
Thought it was
something.
reserve or something.
Yeah. So I mean,
want-
you've got people who know the system, and you're allowing them to just do whatever.
Real quick. Well, let me read this so we can get done with this, so I don't have to read this again. On 5/29/24, Joshua L. Cincney, being over the age of 21, 50 years of age, committed child solicitation when he knowingly solicited, commanded, authorized, urged, entice, request, lure, entice, or advise victim number 3 to engage in any of the fondling or touching intended to arouse or satisfy the sexual desire of either the child or the older person when he texted victim number 3, "I want to rub up on you. We can rub each other. And I want to grab your big and play with your balls that are so black that they are purple. You down? We can meet." At the time of this event, victim number 3 was 14 years of age. So, I mean...
So now, can we show the incompetence of the Herald Bulletin?
Yeah, absolutely.
I am so disgusted with the Herald
We can
Bulletin.
definitely do that. What?
Let's read their article.
Yeah,
And it's in Messenger.
I've got that here.
I mean, this is unbelievable.
Really quickly, as I'm pulling this up, I saw Teresa commented and said that she's over politics and ready to be done. And I just have to say this to you real quick while we're getting ready to look at this, Teresa. That's exactly where they want you to be. That's exactly where they want you to be. Please don't give up. Please don't stop. You have to keep going. Take some time off. Swallow it. Get away from it. Suck it up. We need you in the fight. You've got to be in the fight. You're one of the good people. And when they get Katherine was just there not too long ago, and you've just got to suck it up and get back into it, because we need good people. If that's what they're hoping. They're hoping that they can knock people down and push people away, because then they win. So hold strong. So this is the Herald Bulletin's reporting on this by, obviously, reporter Ken, who's just an absolute nightmare. Detective arrested on child solicitation charges. APD's Cincney was resource officer at Highland. An Anderson Police Department detective has been arrested on 3 counts of child solicitation and official misconduct. Joshua Cincney, 100 block of Nursery Road, was arrested Monday following an investigation by the Indiana State Police at the request of APD. The case has been turned over to a special prosecutor in the Grant County Prosecutor's Office. If convicted, Cincney faces a possible sentence of 1 to 6 years on each count of child solicitation. Anderson Police Chief Mike Lee said Cincney, a detective at APD's Criminal Investigations Division, was placed on paid administrative leave when the department administrators were made aware of the investigation. The investigation started when the department was informed that Cincney was sending inappropriate text messages to 2 male juveniles.
Now, right there floors me, because the report says it's 5.
Yeah. So it's like
research anything.
Yeah, right. It's very strange what he does. Yeah, very strange.
I mean, right in your own article, you contradict yourself.
Yeah. Because then he drops down and says a probable cause affidavit filed by Detective David Preston indicates that Cincney had made contact with 5 boys. During a Kids Talk forensic interview, one of the 14-year-old boys said he knew Cincinnati when he attended Highland Middle School, where Cincinnati was a school resource officer. At the interview, the boy said Cincinnati provided them with money to buy snacks, once in the amount of $45 and a second time with $20. Included in the probable cause affidavit are several text messages sent by Cincinnati that were sexual in nature. Cincinnati told Preston all the text messages were a joke between him and the 5 boys. Several of the text messages sent by Cincinnati requested the boys show them naked pictures of themselves and indicated an interest in performing sex acts. Cincinnati also sent messages concerning the boys' sexual activity, favorite positions, and asking whether they had sexual relations with girls. According to a release provided by APD spokesman Caleb McKnight, Cincinnati's case will be presented to the Safety Board for review and official action. Among actions the board could take are continuation of administrative leave, with or without pay, pending the outcome of the case, and discipline that could include termination of employment with the department. Under Indiana law, officers are entitled to a hearing before the safety board if requested.
Now, when is the safety board meeting? Does the public get to attend the safety board meeting? Does this guy have the option to just retire so that he gets a pension and then he gets charged?
Say that once again.
So would he have the option to just go ahead and retire? And so he's getting a pension and then he can just be in jail that way?
If he, I guess technically if he retired right now, if he just retired right now, I believe he would be able to draw a pension.
So let me get this right, Madison County. Let me get this right. Okay. So the guy retires. We're going to pay his room and board because he's hopefully in jail. And then he's collecting all this money for his family and friends so that when he dies in jail, he can just give it to them. I mean, look at the big picture. This has got to be the most moronic thing I've ever seen. This guy could retire, live in the jail like a king because he's getting his retirement. He has all the grocery money he needs.
No. This dude is a police officer that is a pedophile. He will not be living in jail like a king. That's the one thing that we have going for us. This man is going to have a hard time. If he goes to prison, he is in trouble. That's the one thing that we can look to the future and say, okay, that's the one possibly bright light at the end of this tunnel. And unfortunately, that's just for our minds. Unfortunately, he has screwed these kids up.
I'm with Jamie Lynn. Jamie Lynn's like, he ain't going to jail. I'm with her. This is the most screwed up crap I've ever seen.
And that's a very real possibility too.
Personally, I'm going to say it. The guy needs to eat a bullet.
Yeah.
And he needs to do it himself. He needs to save the taxpayers millions of dollars and just give it a rest. And Steve Sumner needs to do the same thing.
Have you applied for the Blonde's position on the Matt and Blonde show?
But I'm thinking about it.
What?
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I'll send you over. I'm sure you don't even know what I'm talking about, but then you'd fit right in. So listen,
this is craziness.
I can't disagree.
I mean, this friends and families benefit package of Madison County is just unbelievable. And the taxpayers are paying for these pedophiles to walk the streets. They're not even having to bond. And then if they don't have the money, well, you know what? We'll just keep them on the payroll so you taxpayers can pay for any kind of lawyers they need. You guys can pay for everything they need. I mean, think about this, people. This is just nuts. Wait till you guys sit and read the Likens Farms webpage. I hope you people share it all over Facebook. I hope you make them very popular. I mean, that's what people need to do. People ask me all the time, what can we do to help you? Share the information. Listen, we're going into 2025. This is a rest period. What I'm hoping, Chris, is that you and I, Madison County Government Accountability, Sean, Bree, all these people, that we can share information on how to find things on the State Board of Accounts, how to start looking. The more eyes on this stuff, the better. So that's what my big hope is that we're going to start sharing some of these things that we've taken off of this site today, that we can share, that people will take bits and pieces, share this whole interview process. Let me tell you, every one of these political officials are watching this right now. I'm telling you.
Yes.
I mean, it's absolutely going to be the way. And so, Cincinnati, this is a problem. A lot of balls got dropped. The Likens family, they've gifted themselves. You should see the millions and millions of dollars. The whole reason why the Likens went into politics is because they would be the first ones to be able to see the sheriff's sales. And so they could scoop up that stuff and look at them. They're the best people. You want to talk about travel agents? Go talk to these people. They have traveled the world on the taxpayers' dollars. I mean, at least John Richwine is a little more subdued. He's not as flashy as these people, but believe me, he's right there with them. I mean, look at him. He's voting in favor. Now, I want to show you people, and if Jamie Lynn's getting back on, she would do a better job to explain several aspects of this. So I sent you the map of Steve Sumner, and Jamie Lynn's back.
Oh, yeah. Let me pull this up, and then we'll get her pulled up.
And she can probably give us some explanations here. And we're going to roll into, on top of all the land, how the Likens are making even more money and how Steve was working for them.
Are you talking about this?
The Likens employ several pedophilers on their farm. Even to this day.
They do?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So, okay.
What is this, Jamie Lynn?
Well, what are we looking at here?
Ooh, I can't see it.
Very
well. It's too little.
Figured. Let me see here.
It looks familiar, but
this is the map of all the places where Steve was traveling.
Yes. Okay. Yes. That was on the bank statement.
And those are the bank statements over to the right showing, listen, he really is going to these places.
Mm-hmm. Well, now he was on bond also when he did that, and they didn't care. The bigger charges hadn't been filed yet by the special prosecutor, so he was still under the small bond he had here in Madison County. You're not supposed to travel out of state on bond, and I verified friend verified that there was nothing on the docket that he had been approved by the judge to travel, because you can get permission, but he hadn't.
But the Likens didn't care because they own this county.
Yep. Nor did because I told the prosecutor, I still told state police.
Prosecutor
I told all
didn't
of them.
care.
No, I have all and I have the emails to prove it. I showed them. Yeah.
And
they wanted proof, and I said, that's not proof. I don't know. They didn't say anything else.
What did they say? So when they said they needed proof, and you said that's not proof, I mean, is that not proof? What did they say? No, it's not.
They didn't say another word. They didn't say another word.
Because it was. I mean, that's so they couldn't say anything else, because they're like, well, she is giving us proof, but we're not doing anything about it.
Yeah, and the only way they would communicate with me anyway, is through their victim advocate, who was terrible. I mean, I was literally told by the receptionist that I'm not allowed to talk to the prosecutor. I mean, I said, are you telling me that, like, I'm not allowed to? I just have a couple questions. I was not. So that's why I have the proof. It's all in email. And she said that she had told him and blah, blah, blah. But yeah.
Do you mean Rodney or the Grant County guy?
Grant County guy. Or Tippecanoe County for the special prosecutor.
Okay. Yeah. There it's a little bit bigger. Within
Yeah.
weeks of posting bail on charges related to sexual misconduct with minors and possession of child pornography, Sumner began traveling out of state. During this time, frequent deposits were made to Sumner's bank account from Likens Farms.
Yep.
These deposits continued after Sumner faced additional, more serious charges. Did the Likens employ Sumner and direct him to travel out of state? Did the Likens merely fund Sumner's travels? And there are postings of where you can clearly see. I know it's on this; it's hard to see, but there are postings where you can see the actual bank deposits. So I want to be clear. This again is not because I'm sure Diane's got her panties in a wad and she's trying to think of ways that she can sue us or whatever. This is not some crazy thought that we're just having and we've got some issue. This is legitimate shit. While he was on bail, while he was on bond, he was leaving the state. Now, who knows? I don't know. Listen, I'll say it like this. He was leaving the state, and then in connection, very close to around the time, money was being deposited by the Likens. So maybe it had nothing to do with each other, but
look how close to the border it is when they had him down there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
so the last message I just sent you in Messenger is the bank statements.
He didn't work for them until after he got his charges. So it's not like he was working there and they just went ahead and poor Steve and kept him. They literally hired him after. And paid for his defense attorney. I mean, So
that's nuts.
And here's the thing: Wes Likens and Steve have been friends for how long?
Well, they graduated together. They went all through school together. They live on the same road. I mean, they hunted together along with Jeff Richwine. But those two, they did everything together.
I think it's so. How old is Wes? I thought Wes was younger than Steve. That's crazy to me.
No, what are they? 58?
Yeah, they're born in 68. So yeah.
So they're
57,
really?
56, 57.
Okay, that's interesting.
So I sent you the bank statement so you can see it a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Because Diana Likens, if you're watching, I want you to know that I'm not saying anything that isn't on black and white paper.
Yeah, no, it's
and
this
see,
is
you
all.
can't alter the bank statements because the bank isn't really, no matter how much money you have in there, is going to make false documents for you. So we just want you to know that this is all the Likens will support is a pedophiler, and you can't tell me that these people do not know where this man's at.
Yep.
No, stand by, it's loading. I was putting it up away so people can see it easier. But there I would love nothing more than I almost think like it could be like an adventure. We go do it for the show just for like 2 weeks. I'd like to go just look for this guy for 2 weeks.
Oh, I know. I mean, I'm sure he's hiding out in some church.
Yeah, be nice if somebody would. They haven't convinced me that they are.
We can't even call Dog the Bounty Hunter because there's no reward.
No.
Yeah, right. It's hard. It's hard. Yeah. See, that's the thing is, I would like to. It was something that I was good at both on the police department and prosecutor's office. I was good at tracking people down that didn't want to be found. And I don't know, but I would definitely like to go spend time.
You better get your backpack and get going, buddy.
I know that's the thing. Yeah. Right. I'm like, listen, we just need somebody.
We can do live on location.
Yeah.
We need somebody to swear me in. Give me a badge. Give me a badge and an ID for a month. That's all I need. Just a month. And we'll see what we can do. 30 days.
The marshals are supposed to be looking for him, aren't they, Jamie?
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
One retired marshal he was a sheriff in Delaware County, and he's retired, and him.
Who's that?
George
Sheridan.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
He said Beeman was helping him, but yeah.
Stop it, Kristopher.
So George is interesting. Yeah, George is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
If Steve needs to be kung fu or something, you know, it might be worth it. He's like a kung fu master. Okay, I think I'm gonna see if this works.
So I just want to recap. Jamie, you said that Sumner's never worked for them until after he was charged
Yes.
with
Yeah.
this. Then they
Well,
employ him.
yes. So over the years, once in a while in the fall when they were taking in crops, putting them out, they would ask him for help. You know what I mean? A couple days.
Yeah.
So I don't want anyone to look back at that and think I'm like lying or something. But official employment full time was after, and he didn't help them very much taking in the crops and stuff, but once in a while.
Okay, so here's this bank account. So is it like marked or what am I looking for?
I'm
Oh, right here. Okay, no, right there.
Yeah.
I found it. That's easy. Look, Steve Sumner.
Yep.
March of 19, direct deposit payroll Likens Farm, $717.04.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, babe. Beeman could swear me in for a month.
That'd be awesome.
If he's really looking for him, if he really wants to do it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm down. All right, here we go. Deposits and other additions. So March 26th, April 2nd. Yeah, all right. Okay, that's Madison County payroll.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. He's still getting paid as
county
a county
council.
Yeah.
councilman.
Yep.
April 9th, April 16th. Look, look at this. That's amazing. So it's funny that they're paying him, on the same day he's getting paid from the county. So first when they're on March 26th, they're giving him $1,050.23. They're then giving him, just a couple days later, $717.04. Then $865.58, and then $479.64, $465.80. Okay, and then look at all this. Look at all this debit card purchase, La Quinta Inn.
That's where I highlighted it and sent it to the prosecutor's office via email. That's why I highlighted all that.
Saying this is what he was doing. This is where
But
he was
you know
at.
what, Chris? Look at that. Look at that La Quinta Inn. Look at that La Quinta Inn. You see the $5, the $2, the $5?
Yeah.
Somebody or somewhere else, he's paying for the hotel room. There's another card somewhere because that's not a hotel room charge.
Yeah.
So what other card is he using?
Yeah, right. Because you're not getting a room.
And I don't think he even had a card.
Rooms?
I don't think he had a card. He could have already had a card that he could have used because he had two and they were completely maxed out.
No,
I didn't even know he
had a Likens company card.
Yeah, Likens. Yeah.
Does he still have it? Who knows? But see, this is all in Texas.
Did we ever find out? Did anyone ever call down and find out what this purchase was for?
No. I didn't know I could do that.
See, as an investigator, that's something I don't know if it's too late now, but man, that is definitely something that I would want to be doing. When my
attorney gave me that bank statement, I couldn't get home fast enough to text State Police Detective Klettheimer, who dots his I's and crosses his T's. I couldn't get that to him fast enough. And he didn't care. He told me to talk to the prosecutor's office.
As a former police officer, this would have made my life in an investigation. If I would have had a victim or a witness in a case hand me something like this is like a good cop's wet dream. This is amazing because
Well, one more
this
thing.
is go
Sorry,
ahead.
one more thing that's ironic kind of about that is I had told him I had this bank statement right after Steve went missing, which I'm the one that brought it to his attention because my son heard of it, whatever. But let's see. So he called me, I don't know how long after, a week, whatever. Uh, would you happen to know where Steve's banked, where his bank accounts were? It's like, I tried to give you a bank statement and you didn't care about it. Now that, the heat's on you, maybe because he disappeared, you're asking me questions. Shouldn't you have already
That's
known that?
crazy.
Can't
Yeah.
cops just get this stuff?
What?
I don't know.
Can't cops just get a bank statement?
Well, yeah, no, they can't just get it. No, but they file a subpoena for it and get it very easily. You can do one of two things. You can go to the wife and say, "Hey, would you work with me? I'm trying to get this," and the wife can get it. Or you would, if sometimes there is nobody else, or sometimes the wife tells you no, eat shit and die, because they're working with a person, and so you're like, okay, well, I'll just go to get a subpoena. The bottom line is, yes, this is something that a law enforcement officer should be able to get easily. And this is something that they would be salivating to get. So the fact that they're like, nah, they blow it off, that's very telling.
Sean Smith, I am getting to your point. That is the cherry on top. I am getting there. Don't rush me.
I can't see the comments.
Oh, I can see the comments. I'm like,
That's-
Sean, I'm getting there.
I need a second device. That's funny.
So, so if anybody's questioning this, Chris, I just sent you. This is the Likens truck. I mean, that whole thing is that anybody who wants this, you can find it on Madison County Government Accountability page. I will reshare this over the weekend to kind of get this pushed back out. There are old posts that we did back when this was actually happening. So if anybody's on here thinking, why is Katherine just now? No, we've been working on this for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So we are bringing back to light because it gets pushed down. So we have been on top of this. So, if you look at this picture of this truck, Jamie Lynn, if you can say where this is at.
Yes, then I'll get it pulled up here. This is yeah, that's all old information. I remember when that was first posted. I came home and looked at it. I was like, oh my God, I want to see this because that is crazy. That's crazy information to have.
Yeah.
It's very telling.
I mean, I'm not a cop or anything, but I figured when I got it at the attorney's office, they might be excited to see it, but they weren't.
It's that's so ludicrous. That is so. And ironically, the state police detective is involved with this case.
Is he? I wondered.
Yeah, with Cincinnati.
Oh, I didn't see his name anywhere. Wow. I wondered.
It's Preston.
No, hold on. I'll show you. Here's this.
Yeah, I did see Preston.
Look at this, and then I'll show you. So what is this? Oh, you guys can't see it yet. Hold on, sorry. Here's the truck.
So this is after the allegations. Where's that truck at?
So that's up on Broadway, right diagonal from Nick's, the corner of Nick's, and there's a church in front of it. It used to be the old suburban aluminum building. And that's the same building that later Likens has bought and Steve disappeared. But that was before that. And that's
so Steve owned this building.
Yes. Steve was staying in that building for a while, actually living in there. And
using a Likens vehicle.
Yes.
So I just want you to know, I want you to see how deep and corrupted the Likens are and what lengths they will do to support a pedophile. And how much they will, laugh in Jamie's face at a polling site like this is a joke.
Yeah. Right.
So as we
Darlene said I was crazy.
See, there you go. I mean, she's at the polling and the Lycans are calling her crazy while she's
Best
at the
compliment
poll.
I've gotten in a long time. I thought that was great.
You know, so when you look at this, not only do they get their money off of land and the taxpayers, they also, the Lycans run a scheme. They go out of state to get the vehicles with questionable title statuses. They bring them back to Indiana and have one of their judges order a clean title with the BMV, and then they sell it. Okay. This is what I believe Steve was doing.
Oh.
And so
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
this is why he was going down there. So I just sent you the article from the Herald Bulletin, Chris, if you can put that up, that shows Darlene. This is why she was the clerk. I mean, this is why they take from seat to seat. They learn the different roles so that they can take over the taxpayers and make money. I mean, it's the craziest thing you've ever seen. And the taxpayers keep voting these people in.
And wouldn't she have known, especially being a commissioner, working all up there her whole, pretty much her whole life, that he wasn't supposed to be traveling out of state without permission? Wouldn't she have wanted to dot her I's and cross her T's? And a good way to know that that's for sure why that he was going was, I mean, I was told he was traveling for work, but when I called his bail bondsman to report it, because I couldn't get anybody else to care, that's what she yelled at me. He's got to work, doesn't he? So
who
it's
said
like,
that? His bail bondsman did?
Yeah, I hung up on her. I was scared. I never talked to a bail bondsman. I couldn't get anybody else to call. I tried to tell the prosecutor. I tried to tell the state police. I thought, sure, I don't really know that much about bondsmen. I thought surely they'd care. Oh no, she didn't care.
Dude, what?
Yep.
That is ludicrous.
I thought that was normal. I mean, seriously, I did not know about this stuff.
You thought what was normal?
Well, I mean,
you thought they were just assholes to everybody?
Yeah.
You thought normally the victims were treated like assholes?
Apparently,
no.
Yeah.
Treated like assholes by assholes? No, that is not normal. That is not normal in the least bit. Now, listen, there are people that will absolutely, on minor things, will drive people nuts. And I can't tell you as an investigator before, I've yelled at victims who are, I would never in a billion years ever remotely treat someone in your situation even remotely like you've been treated. But that's just, I guess, the difference. That's absolutely insane that's what goes on. I don't know.
Well, one day when he was here and he was giving my daughter a hard time too. And I mean, I got really upset about it because it was bad. And so I sat in the car and talked to him, and he finally said he was so sorry for acting like that. He had this old football injury and he really just wanted to retire. And you're not going to tell Keith, are you? That's exactly what he said. Yeah. After he had talked to us like that and I'd had enough.
Are you kidding me?
No, I told Keith that. No, I called and reported a bunch of stuff to Keith this last November, and he cared for about 5 minutes, and I never heard back from him.
Oh, ever. Yeah. Keith. Hold on, Keith. Who's Keith?
O'Donnell. Keith
okay,
O'Donnell.
Okay.
I guess Keith O'Donnell.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's show the people that article that I sent you from the Herald Bulletin, how they're running this scheme. Darlene was the court clerk for years. See, here's the thing. These guys are farmers, but they need insurance. So what they do is they become elected officials, so then they have their health insurance.
Oh.
Because, and so, I mean, it's a whole scheme. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Wow.
Okay. I'm trying to see.
And it's called Title Process in Madison County Raises Concerns.
I don't know how this is going to work. I think I loaded this some weird way. We'll see how this goes.
So this is Judge Newman, who has now passed.
Mm-hmm.
For more than a decade, at least 2 local judges circumvented the Madison County Clerk's office and issued court-ordered titles for vehicles and other properties without creating a public traceable paper trail. And in some cases, people obtaining the titles were not charged the $141 clerk fee associated with the court filing. While it's impossible to determine an exact amount of revenue lost from this practice, more than $13,000 in potential clerk's fees were not collected. Was not collected? I don't think that sounds right. Were not collected in 2014. Who wrote this? This unofficial title process abruptly stopped after the anonymous letters detailing the processing practice in Madison County were circulated in October, less than a month before Election Day. As of this week, all court proceedings involving titles are now properly routed and maintained by the clerk's office. Imagine that. Before the recent change, residents would typically go to the Madison County courts if they needed to replace a lost or unavailable vehicle title. At least 2 judges kept the title files in their offices and did not turn their records over to the clerk's office. Holy shit!
Wow.
The titles generated by bypassing the clerk's office might have saved residents money and prevented the court system from being bogged down with miscellaneous filings, but the process was patently unfair to local residents who filed for titles through the clerk's office and paid the $141 fee. The process also offered no way to determine whether money exchanged hands or to provide a way to correct or track old orders. The process, according to some in local judicial system, circumvented the way the can we take that Sean Smith thing? Okay, circumvented the legal system to circumvented the way the legal system is supposed to work. Madison County Circuit Court 6 Judge Dennis Carroll called the secret files a potential problem. In terms of policy, it's not going to happen anymore. So I've been told, he said. I have been here 30 some years and I have never used a process where things are not filed through the clerk's office. In 2014, titles processed by Madison County Circuit Court 3 Judge Thomas Newman without involving the clerk's office included a 1931 Ford Model A, a 1979 Chevy Camaro, a 2012 Harley Davidson, 1970 Dodge Charger, and a 1974 Chevy Corvette. And in 2003, a 2003 Mercedes-Benz. I wasn't aware there were vehicles that were expensive, but that's proof in the pudding, Carroll said. At least one state investigation by the Indiana Commission on Judicial Qualifications is underway, and in Madison County, old cases previously not filed with the clerk are being backlogged into the county court system, court officials said. October letters. In October, unsigned letters, some with handwritten addresses and some typewritten, were circulated to county officials and residents, accusing Madison County Clerk Darlene Likens and Newman of official misconduct regarding the issuance of titles. The letters were distributed about a month before Tuesday's general election, in which Likens and 4 local circuit court judges, excluding Newman, were up for re-election. Likens was opposed by former Madison County Circuit Court Judge Frederick Spencer, whom she ultimately defeated. All 4 of the judges in Tuesday's election ran unopposed. One letter alleged, and Likens confirmed, her husband, Herbert, obtained a court-ordered title for a trailer through Newman's court. Likens said no court fee were paid and no court documents were filed when she obtained the title. So she, the clerk, even didn't do the proper
Let me explain
procedure.
something to you. Tracy Moyer wrote this article.
Yep. Okay.
Quickly, she was removed from the Herald Bulletin.
Ding,
There has
ding,
never
ding.
been a follow-up And I don't know that anybody's ever gone back to see if things are now in process. But now they're still running the scheme. So I'm pretty sure checks and balances still aren't in place. And so
Wow.
this is the corruption in Madison County. I mean, the Lycans don't even want us to pay you $141. That's what they think. Your public servants think very little of you people.
Yeah.
You are beneath them.
Oh, yeah.
You deserve only the crumbs should they leave any. Why would you keep voting these people in? What is wrong with you?
Yeah. Notice
I mean,
how
this
Darlene
is how
didn't.
corrupt.
Notice how Darlene didn't disclose how many titles George and that side obtained. It's rumored after this was discovered that Likens moved to a judge in another county, which is very, very possible. Court-ordered titles are issued when a title has been lost or destroyed, a vehicle has been salvaged for parts, or the vehicle was abandoned by the owner. In those cases, titles are issued through the Indiana Bureau of Motor Vehicles after an order is issued from an Indiana court showing a vehicle was not unlawfully obtained. The court is to include vehicle and owner identification along with other required documentation. Likens said her husband had acquired a flatbed trailer for less than $2,000 to haul hay for use on the family farm. The trailer was purchased during the summer at an auction in Pendleton and sold without a title, she said. When Likens asked for paperwork to file the lost title, an employee in the clerk's office told her Newman issued court-ordered titles at the courthouse. And here she was, the clerk, and she wasn't like, well, that seems strange. On July 11th, 2013, Herbert Likens filed for a court-ordered title in Madison County Circuit Court 3. Newman granted the request the same day it was filed. This is the most innocent thing I've done in my life. And it's not very innocent.
No.
I have
It's
done in my life.
calculating and manipulating, and
Yeah.
you people drink this Kool-Aid.
Yeah. I mean, she should never have been allowed to be, the voters should have booted her ass from politics at this point, and she should have been a laughing stock out of anything. She should never have been anything after this point. And this shows you the problems, man. This is insane.
They know how to put on a show. They do. I don't know. There's something, I don't know. But they're not who they seem to be. I promise you that.
Newman said this is a common practice. I've never heard of anything like this. This is nuts.
And I am so sick of Rodney Cummings' comment. Well, this is a civil matter. It's not a criminal matter. I don't know. It looks pretty criminal to me. Every time Rodney wants out of something, it becomes a civil matter and not a criminal matter. But when he wants something, he'll make it a criminal matter if it fits his agenda.
Oh.
He was uncertain. Rodney was uncertain whether her actions could be considered irresponsible. Okay, he couldn't even have an opinion on whether her actions were deemed irresponsible.
Well, no, because if he did, these people, the Likens and everybody else, would probably come out and say he beats his wife. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I mean, this is what they do. They will protect each other so the secrets will stay in place.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure Darlene would assume that a judge would not sign an order if there were not a legal basis to do it.
I mean, this is just nonsense.
Man, this is really crazy.
This is how deep and it's been going on for decades, people, and nobody seems to care. I mean, look at this. I mean, Chris, put this picture up because it's
sure
just
does
so
look
disgusting.
like fraud to me. Yes,
I'm sending you this picture. Look at this picture, people. Print this in your head forever. This picture. This is why there is no justice for Jamie. Right here is going to show you this picture.
Yeah, this is
two balls
with
a penis in between it.
Yeah. Yes. This this is
Yeah.
definitely,
This should be the picture. This
Yeah.
is why there's no justice for Jamie and her kids.
yeah.
And I don't know that there'll be justice for these children
Yeah.
that were abused because of this picture.
Yeah.
Who knows how much information the Lawler family has on Cummings and Russ and those guys. So now you're going to see some power moves going on.
That was at
Oh,
George
yeah.
Likens' house.
There you go. Was it George Likens' house? It was a fundraiser.
Yep.
Yeah. Look.
For Steve. It was a fundraiser for Steve when he ran.
This is the prosecutor, Rodney Cummings. This is Steve Sumner's. And in the middle of these two is Russ Willis, the head of the GOP. I mean, this is a problem, people. I don't know how else to tell you what's going on here.
So what date was this picture taken?
Ugh. The last time he ran, I don't remember. Let's see.
So
Maybe
probably
2006.
2018.
Yeah, around. I was just going to say.
Let me
yeah.
ask you, and you don't have to answer this.
Okay.
Oh,
Was
answer
he-
it.
Yeah. Was
Find
he committing his crimes while this was going on at this time?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Not that I know of.
Okay. So okay. I just, I always look back. Let me tell you, Jamie, and I don't like talking about this because of the situation, and I think that people try to tie it to me. I not to the same extent, but I've been looked at in some of the same light. I had a gentleman that I did not know from Adam. One day I was thumbing around through Facebook and someone messaged me and said, "Hey, you got to look at this guy. He's over giving some politicians some crap in your old stomping ground." And they sent me a video, and it was this guy called Joshua Kimbrell. And I started watching him, and he was over there. He was in Winchester just giving him some hell. And so I made contact with him, and we got to talking, and I didn't know him from Adam. We kind of partnered up, and me and him and Kate and Brandon, the other guy, we kind of partnered up and went in on a thing together. And we did a show similar to this for a little bit, maybe not right out a year. But then we started in November of 22. And then by July, August, it had dissolved and we'd went our separate ways for other issues. And I still talked to him periodically, but it was definitely damaged. And I knew this guy had issues and problems, but I never saw anything crazy out of him. And then in December of that year, he went in and turned himself in because his wife caught him they got to talking about it, and he was molesting his stepkids.
Oh.
And so I get people who will tell me like, "Oh, well, you were friends with this guy. You had to have known what he was doing." So I go back and look in my mind, like, when I knew him, like, what did these things mean? So that's the reason I ask you, like, what was going on during this time. So
yeah,
that's
well, I was
always
trying to
interesting.
think. It was 20. It could have been, because if it was 2018, and I can't even say that for sure, but if so, I walked in on it in 2020, and it had been going on for right around 2 years.
Okay, so it could have been right. I mean, around then. And then, and of course, that's just what you know about. Who knows what other victim could be out there that we
I've
don't
been
know.
contacted.
Well, and here's the
I've
thing.
been contacted by one.
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe Steve was a victim. I mean,
Sure.
Sean Smith says it right
Absolutely.
there.
You don't.
I mean,
Yeah.
He had to have been. And he's a narcissist, and you're not born that way. I know there's things you can be born with, but you're not born a narcissist.
Yeah.
It takes a really, like, something. Anytime I hear somebody's a narcissist, first thing I think is, "Ooh, wonder what happened to them," because that's the truth of it. I mean, seriously, you just kind of think about it, but I do. Probably
Yeah.
because I've studied narcissism for 4 years now, and I know
because
it's
you've had
real.
to deprogram yourself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Oh,
how
gosh.
crazy they are. Yeah.
Yes. I'm
mean-
just now, after 4 years, starting to get back to me. I had no idea. He did what he did to me in 20 years. mind, the mind stuff. I mean, people don't understand. I didn't. I had
Yeah.
no idea.
I mean,
No.
that's the whole thing that, you have to look and, again, we'll start circulating some of these old Steve things. We need to probably start bringing those back out and circulating them. And you know what, Likens? Happy holidays. Because 2 years ago, you got close to $180,000 of taxpayer money as a gift for your Christmas because they cleared them right about November. I mean, that
Oh.
was the first order of business that Darlene took when she first came back as commissioner. I mean, that was hot on her. And so they ended up paying $2,500 a piece. So the Likens ended up only paying $2,500, and then Sipes ended up paying $2,500. And so that's pocket change to these people.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is how ridiculous it is. I mean, Steve was probably molested as a child, Sean. I mean, if he spent that much time with the Likens growing up, I mean, what are the odds? I mean, it's who knows who else is connected. I'm hoping. I mean, I'm actually taking this, and I mean this politely to all the families who are victims out there. This is in some ways a blessing on Cincinnati, because I'm hoping that he will begin to roll out some of the other criminal behavior by some of these other elected officials.
That was my first thought.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't mean that in a negative. I mean that heartfelt, that at some point somebody is going to have to start to roll on somebody.
Something's going to have to break
for
the
us to
camel's
get
back.
justice.
Yeah.
The pot in Madison County, the pressure is building and building and building. And that's what is going to have to happen, is they're going to have to all start to do something. So this whole process, and this is another thing what we wanted to show people. Chris, if you can put this up, we want to show you George Likens did buy this land in cash. Jamie never saw any money from these buildings. This is what he's on the run for. Our other prayer is that soon he's going to run out of money. You can only run on money for so long, but it was a large sum. This shows how the land was acquired by the Likens. I'd really like to know what the assessed value was and what kind of deals were made. But if they were getting cash this way, how much cash was he able to save over the time period?
Right.
Here's the properties.
Yep.
These changed hands.
Yep.
And nobody, I mean, the Likens should be putting up $100,000 reward to find Steve Sumner. If they are watching this, you know what? If you don't want to pay back the county the $200,000 or $150,000, how much it is, then put that up as a reward to find Steve Sumner's.
Yep.
Once we find him, the taxpayers maybe will say that is a good enough exchange for the debt you owed the people.
Right.
Well,
even though, that's a small amount, but something has to be done. And the Likens, they can certainly step up and shell out money to win elections.
Yep.
Here's the thing. If we're wrong, if we're wrong about all of this, I just want to say, I don't know how that could be, but if this is just, none of this is true and it just happens to look like this, maybe you guys, the Likens, maybe you'd want to do something to make it not look so bad.
Yeah.
Put up some money. You guys, it's not hurting you. Do what you can to get this guy brought home, and do something to change it. If this is not what you're doing,
But I guarantee this is the truth, because who's the number one public servant in those county council meetings that wants to shut everybody up and run for a cop? It's Diana.
It's Diane Likens.
The girl's going to have a seizure just trying to get to a cop.
Yeah.
Kind of trips over. And the way she looks at people, look at Cheryl Dodd McKinney. She says something about, this family owns a lot of land, and where's this going? And what does Diana whips off her glasses, starts to give the death stare, the stink eye. Get a grip. And then Diana goes in the back and she's screaming and yelling on our behavior. Look at your behavior. You're a public servant, Diana. If you don't like it, then why don't you resign?
Yeah.
Then quit.
Yeah.
You're a disgrace. And you know what? Stay in the position. I don't really care, because you're going to continue to be a disgrace to the family and run that name through the mud. It will be the children and the grandchildren who will have to look at people and say, you're a Likens? Should we do business with you? Should we trust you people? And that's the one thing George Likens was saying. They did not want Darlene to run for this commissioner seat, because he was even saying, you know what? People aren't going to want to do business with us.
Yeah.
I mean, she needs to go. Diana Likens needs to go. There's nothing pure or innocent about this woman. And let me tell you something. These guys, one of the kids graduated. I don't know if it's a grandkid or who it was. They brought in, and is going to become like a pilot for her high school graduation party. They brought in a plane for her to fly, this girl. And they bought it for her or something like that. Well, once people started to see that on social media, they took it down. Well, yeah, but that's how arrogant. I mean, they're not putting things out now because they know that the people are watching. But you guys have no idea how much you have paid for all of their things.
Yep.
It's craziness. Good night, Alva. Happy Thanksgiving.
And Chris, just like you said, say we are wrong.
Yeah.
Never mind. I lost my train of thought.
I don't think we're wrong.
I know
what I was going to say.
Yeah.
If it stops at a certain point, as for me, I still think the same horrible things about him. They employed him. They gave him a place to live on my road. They got rid of half my stuff when they bought his building. I mean,
right.
That's enough for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So again,
that also makes me think other things. I mean, how can you not?
Sure. Perception is reality. And that's it's a bitch, but that's the way it is. If the shoe fits, you got to wear it. And if they're not doing anything, to make themselves look better, it's the whole adage, if you lay down with dogs, you get fleas. And, my dad used to tell me, if you run with a bad crowd, people think that you're part of a bad crowd and that you're a bad guy too. So it's that whole thing, if this has been their friend for so long and they've done all this other shit, forget all the other crap.
Right.
Just the crap that you can prove that they've done to you makes them questionable people. Forget all the Sumner shit. Just the shit that they've done that we can prove that they've done in their elected positions is enough to make them bad people. Hell, forget everything. Just the shit that Darlene did as clerk right there in that article is enough for me to say to hell with her. And so just that, all of that is too much.
Yeah.
Not to mention all of this other circumstantial evidence, which let me tell you, and this is very important, in the court of law. All right. If Katherine murdered me and there's direct evidence is an eyewitness watching Katherine murder me, or a police officer watching Katherine murder me and being able to testify, or video evidence, or Katherine's confession. That's direct evidence. That's given this much weight. If there's circumstantial evidence, and circumstantial evidence is you're at home with your kid, you just bought 10 new cookies, you put them in the cookie jar, and your kid says, you're in the living room, your kid says, hey, I want a cookie before supper. And you say, no, not until after supper. And then they go off and play, and you're in the living room, and later on, you see them run past you, and you're sitting on the couch, you hear the chair slide, and you hear some rumbling, and then later on you get up and you go in and your kid's playing back in the playpen, but you go in and the chair's pushed against the counter and the cookie jar is askew and there's some crumbs there and there's only 7 cookies. You didn't watch them eat it, but you have circumstantial evidence that your kid ate the cookie. Guess how much weight circumstantial evidence is given? The exact same as direct. A jury or
Really?
a judge is to absolutely, yes, ma'am. You are to give as a juror the exact same amount of weight to circumstantial evidence as you are direct evidence. And there's enough shitload of circumstantial evidence that they're connected to him. So to hell with them.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing with all of this. I mean, I just sent you a picture. I want you to understand that even
I
though
want your phone to
Darlene
die.
Likens is now stepping down. That's the one thing people will say. Like Jamie will get on a Facebook post, people are yelling at me, and she's like, "All right, you guys asked for it. Catherine's now going to have to put all these pictures up, right?"
Yeah, right.
And so, right here, the Likens, they're still in the game. They may not be in a seat anymore. They're donating to John Richwine.
Yeah.
They're going to make sure they hold the commissioners. They just paid between Rick Gardner and Todd Culp to win commissioner and auditor. They spent over 60 grand. They've gotten smarter. So now they're donating cash, right? So if we had a cop who could go into their bank accounts and look and see how much cash deposits are going in there, I bet you would find out that these truly aren't loans that they're loaning themselves.
Yeah.
If you go into their personal accounts, I bet they're putting them in their personal accounts and then they're transferring it over as a loan. Because let me tell you something, both of these numbnuts have filed bankruptcy. Both of these numbnuts cannot pay property taxes. Now, one of them has removed all of his property taxes so nobody can see what it is. Trust me, they can't manage money. They're not putting this kind of money into their areas and loan it themselves unless they're maxing out their credit cards. I mean, and I don't know how Culp could go get a loan, could get a credit card or do anything and put that kind of money into an election because he just did the $500,000 bankruptcy in March.
Wow.
So where, if I was a bankruptcy officer and I saw those election reports, I would come back and say to him, oh, no, you owe us money.
Yeah.
Because when you can dump that kind of money as a personal loan into your election accounts, you just screw the people and you owe us that money. And there is a certain amount of time frame that bankruptcy courts can come back and say, you got to pay that back. So I'm just telling you right now, don't think for one thing. These people can donate to this, but they can't help donate to fund to find a child molester or a pedophile. I'm over all of it.
Yeah.
But what I want, the biggest thing I want people to understand is that to this day, if you go look up on Bobby Likens' Facebook, he is still selling tons of motor vehicles, trailers, etc. He's got a huge trailer lot over in Lapel that I pass all the time. Okay.
Wait a minute. Sorry, but he's the one that bought the big blue building.
Yes, Bobby Likens, the son.
Are
this is George
there
Likens'
vehicles
son.
in there? That's what I'm saying. Is that what that's being? I mean, I don't know. Is that what that's being used for?
I
big
don't know. I mean, to me, it's like they launder money through these different areas, so nobody figures out. So obviously, he's still running that racket. They are still doing this. The Likens are still doing these title things. However, they're getting through. I have no idea. We assume that they probably have a judge out of the county handling it for them now after the secret courthouse docket was exposed. Bob Likens, last that we checked, does not have a motor vehicle dealer's license as required by the amount of crap he is selling. And you can go to the Indiana dealer licensing. It's the sos.in.gov. And I don't believe he has a dealer's license and he's still doing it.
Yeah.
These people are out of control. And if it were you doing it, they would figure it out. They would find you and they'd be calling you on it. The reason why you don't really realize it in Lapel, because it's on the corner of Pendleton Avenue and 13, is because he's got a separate name of the company. Bree might have a picture of the sign of it, but it's selling these trailers. It's owned by the Likens, people. I mean, you have no idea. And here's a news flash. I want everybody to understand this. Do you know that in Madison County, there are ordinances that you cannot have these trailers or whatever they want to call them on county property? And the Likens are sitting there selling it. Well, they should be fined. I've got friends and family out there who are being fined if they don't fix those things and put them on a certain slab, and they have to have it surrounded so people can't see it. But yet he's got it and he's selling it on county property. People think that's part of LaPel. It's not part of LaPel. It's not inside the city limits. It's a violation of the county.
Yeah.
They are out of control. People,
Yeah.
you've got to show up at council meetings.
Yeah.
You've got to show up at commissioners meetings, and you've got to hold these people accountable.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you've got to quit voting them in.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
That is my soapbox for tonight.
Woo.
But we are going to get justice for Jamie. However you get it. This is a horrible situation. What's happened here. Clearly the prosecutor will always say, oh, that's civil. It's not criminal. Anytime he doesn't want to address something these elected officials have done, it's the same. And I'm going to say it now. It's the same bullshit when it comes to Russ Willis and the canvassing violation.
Sure.
Rodney and Andrew Hanna are like, oh, if it's brought to us, we'll address it. Just bring it to us. Well, it's been brought to you. What are the two of you doing? Nothing. What are the state police doing? Nothing.
Mhm.
I mean,
Sure.
he committed a election crime,
Right.
and the county has taken zero stance on it.
Yeah.
This is the corruption. Madison County is corrupted. We can get out of it. The power is in the people, but you got to start showing up. You got to start sharing Facebook posts, because we can't depend on the Herald Bulletin to do anything.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
And so
No.
if you want to help, just share it. I want to tell you something. I had a lady reach out to me from another county. I think it's down south. We are beginning to pick up steam in other counties. I don't just post this stuff in our little areas.
Yes.
I post it anywhere that somebody wants to listen to me, because I'm hoping that we're going to find somebody somewhere who wants to do the right thing, who maybe has some knowledge, who says, let me go help these people. I don't know. Maybe Trump will see it. Maybe Trump will say, listen, this lady and these people are fighting the same thing we're fighting. I mean, let's go help them. We've got to help some of these backyard people in order to get the country back. And here's the thing. Maybe if we have a few sacrificial lambs that come in and say, you know what, we're not going to condone this from prosecutors.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to make an example of you because you can't seem to do your job. Elected official or not an elected official, this is wrong to the people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We can't have child molesters out here running around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So I'm tired of hearing what's civil and what's criminal. It's all subjective, Rodney. This is criminal.
Yeah.
Well, look,
Well,
his
clearly.
last charge disappeared. No, I mean, it's not on my case. So that's what
his
makes me think-
OWI in 2008, it's gone. It's
Gone.
vanished.
Yep.
That's
It's not
crazy.
there.
You got both of these guys running around with no monitoring devices, no ankle bracelets, no money that they had to put up for any of this. I mean, you've already lost one. Clearly, the Lycans have something to do with it. Diana needs to resign. I think the reason why she keeps her nose in the game is just so she can see if somebody's coming after the Lycans.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think she's
you guys, I
planted.
could podcast
Yeah.
every night on
Yeah.
Madison County and bring something up new. I mean, I just could. And I honestly was going to be done with this, but I don't know. I just keep getting pulled back in.
That's what happens.
You know, and I'm going to say this,
Yes.
Because they don't stop.
Yeah.
you know, and that's the thing, you know, hey, I'll make a deal. If John Richwine, Russ Willis, and Diana Likens all resign, I'll never post on social media again. I will. I'll make the deal for the people. I mean,
That'd
I'll
be a
make the
pretty
deal
good
for
deal.
the people.
That'd be a
You
pretty
know,
good deal.
Yeah, it's just that simple. And you know, look at Teresa on here. Do you know she still hasn't been paid as a poll worker?
That's insane.
That's your incompetent auditor's office.
Oh my gosh.
you know?
Well, we would have, so we'd have to be able to, we'd have to prove it. We'd have to, I mean, I guarantee you there's an attorney out there. So I don't know who, but I guarantee you there's an attorney that would take that case on, that would say, hey, let's get into this. Because attorneys have subpoena power. They're same as the cops. They're officers of the court. They have investigators that work for them. That would be fantastic. That would be fantastic.
I mean, it all takes money, right? I mean, that's the thing. It all takes money to do all of this. But here's what I believe. I believe a couple things. One, Rodney and the judges who were all involved in this should sit in jail until Sumner's is found.
Yeah.
Okay. Two, they don't want to do that. Then they need to put as much money into Jamie's case or whatever it takes for her to have him found, because they're
at least mention it once in a while. I mean,
we didn't lose them.
It's just gone. No, and it hasn't been mentioned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't even care that much.
Exactly. And here's the thing. If that's not going to work, okay, you guys don't get paid another dime until Sumner's is found. So I'm giving you 3 options. It's not like I'm only giving them one.
Yeah.
But at some point they have to feel it. They have to be accountable. And here's the thing. If Sumner's is out there and he's caught because he's molesting another kid, every one of you who signed off of him, you just sit yourselves in jail.
Oh my, that would be horrible. And I hope
and that's just how I feel about it. And you know what? Yes, I feel like I can say it because in the medical profession, if an orthopedist screws up sometimes, the family practice is held accountable because they say we hold all the cards. We're the quarterbacks. So no, it really should. That crap should roll downhill, uphill, sideways, and every other way. I mean, it's a swamp. And these people are just completely out of control, and you cannot even contain it. It's so bad. I mean, there's not enough chemotherapy out there.
Too many years. I mean, it has been going on.
There's not enough chemotherapy to cure this cancer.
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember hearing all these things about Mark Lawler years and years ago when he, you know what I mean, when I was young and just I was paralegal back then and all that. I mean, this has been going on for so many years. And it's so funny, back when he was in office, several of the people that are, well, some in office, some that have been in office, they were big Democrats with him, and now they're Republicans. And
that's interesting. Yeah.
You know, and just
Linda
like
Smith did it.
Yeah. I mean, and just like Sean Smith says, none of these judges, it's a conflict of interest. None of these judges can cross the lichens because they need her vote for the funding.
Yep.
For all their money to cover up all the stuff they're doing. Now, here's a news flash. I mean, yes, you people went to law school, but you would think that they would have a little bit of a business mind.
Yeah.
Maybe if you charged people and took their money for bonds, you wouldn't need so much money from the council. I mean, set this guy's bond at $1 million. Lawler's got the money. He took it from the taxpayers.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't care if they have to mortgage their home, sell their clothes, or anything else. You think that it bothers them when we can't put food on the table? There'll be several people who cannot put food on the table tomorrow because they had to decide either to pay property taxes or to eat.
Yeah.
Well, it's gone crazy in this county.
I think it was Shelley that put together a list. I had it at one time, probably somewhere in my email, but she went back to all the other pedophiles in this county that have been arrested and looked at their bonds. None of them were cops or county councilmen. They all had bonds.
Yep.
Yeah.
God.
Big bonds for ones that had way less charges than Steve.
Yeah.
And he didn't just have it's not that he has even 18 charges. He has a level 3 rape. And I can't remember exactly what the level 1 says. It molests something. I can't remember, but I mean it's a level 1. So you know that that's not good.
Listen, just one charge should be a significant value of money. Just one charge.
Yep. I know.
You know, I mean, we're going to have to find justice for Jamie. I mean, I mean, everybody on here tonight has been amazing. I mean, you know, and I am. There's no one that, greater than anyone, but I will say Sean Smith's done a great job with feeding us a lot of documents, a lot of information. I
Yes.
always appreciate that support.
He and
Bree comes
Lorene
on
are
and gives a
awesome.
lot of information. I know a lot of people are doing their Thanksgiving dinners tonight. Cindy's usually involved, Shelly, Nicole, all those guys. And I'm sure they're all going to watch this video at some point and listen to it. They're
Yeah.
all big pieces of the puzzle that are starting to come together and hold people
Yeah.
accountable. This is out of control.
I know. Yep.
And the only way through this is to put it all out there and hope for change. Excuse me. I mean, that's all we can do.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Jamie, what are your thoughts about this Cincinnati guy?
As far as
The
just-
charges and the Indiana State Police, how all this has been handled.
I'm just appalled. I'm totally appalled by it. I mean, all of it. No bond. The way
It's
they
like
worded,
reliving your situation again.
yes, it's exactly like it. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
If
how do you
didn't-
think these mothers feel knowing
Yeah.
that he's out there with no
Mhm.
bond?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know how they feel. I know exactly how they feel.
Let me ask you,
I felt
you said
safer when he went on the run. I know this is probably wrong, but I was almost relieved to know that he was on the run and with a woman. that kind of gave me just a little bit of breath, thinking he's not right down the road or right down that road where he lived.
so they said
Contemplating this whole
that
house as witnesses.
they said that Steve couldn't have any contact with you or to the victims, right?
Right. Yeah, we
Did
do
he
have
follow-
protective orders.
Did he follow that?
As far,
He never
Mhm.
tried to come around. He never tried to contact you guys. He never tried to.
Nope, not at all.
Now, that is good. That's the one thing that is good.
He drove down our road every day from when he left the Likenses from work to go back to where on Broadway we lived in the church. He drove by our house every day.
See, that's to me intimidating, stalking, and breaking what he was told to do. He can take another route. There are other roads in the county.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they put him in fields right on our road.
See,
This road is narrow. We're coming home a narrow,
finding the
kind of
work
narrow. He's right there at the edge of the field. They're taking in crops. They have farmland everywhere, and then he's right down there. I mean,
Yeah,
and to
right.
watch my daughter just about hyperventilate. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't they at least be considerate like that?
Well, the other situation, I brought up Kimbrell, the other situation, and we just talked about it here recently. It was the gentleman. There was another situation in Randolph County where a guy was doing things with high school age kids, underage juveniles, and it was a male on male situation. It was that Lewis Galligan, and he got a low bond, and the other day there was some question on whether it was actually a 40,000 and he paid 4,000, or if it was 4,000 and he paid 400. I called, it was 40,000 and he paid 4,000. So that's what I did get that corrected in the short that I put out, but
he comes from a wealthy family, doesn't he?
He comes from a wealthy family, and so the
he's got dual
ridiculous thing about that was, and he's got dual citizenship. So he
that's
paid
nothing to them.
Nothing, and he paid his $4,000. He was arrested on the 4th of January 4th, 2024. He was arrested. He was formally charged at 8:30 in the morning on the 5th. Sometime between over the night into the morning, he paid his $4,000. He was gone, and he was probably on a plane and out of here by the 6th or before. He was gone, and he's been in England ever since. Now, he did get arrested, and he is, thank God, he's being brought back. But I'm going to tell you something that we haven't talked about on here, and some people know. But between the time that the investigations were occurring and he was in trouble and he was arrested and whatnot, one of the people that was involved, and there was some back and forth with Lewis, and there's some question on what Lewis played a part. Did he talk to this kid? Did he talk the kid into it? That actually took his own life. as a result of this, as a result of being connected to this. And that's very unfortunate. So people have to, I really hope that the families of these young men are really paying attention to them, because you got to understand, Lewis didn't go after the real big, well thought out after people. He went after people that were maybe, he's a predator. Predators are able to pick out people who maybe don't come from the best homes or whatever. And so they're able to make them, they love bomb them and they make them feel special and things like that. Well, those people are very easily to be manipulated into, doing things. And imagine the thought of putting in, a predator like this, putting in the thought of some kid that's not gay. He's just a kid. And you got this older man talking to him about all this, homosexual stuff, and going around saying, look, everyone's going to think you're gay. They're going to call you the F word. They're going to call you gay. You're going to be, and the stress that's going to put on a young person.
Yeah.
And so I hope that the families of this kid, of the victims, are really watching these people and getting them therapy and talking and letting them know that this was not their fault. And I hope that they are monitoring and keeping this asshole away from them. If he's texting or calling or texting on other lines, make sure you report that, because it only takes a few texts to talk somebody into doing something stupid. And
I saw an email. It looks like they sent an email out to Highland, or maybe all the schools. I'm not sure about that, but an email out asking, there could be more that comes forward.
There could be more victims. Absolutely.
Yep. They did put an email out and, telling parents what was going on and stuff. So
yeah,
that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
All we can do is wait and see what happens. But the fact that he's out without any type of bond or, a device to monitor him, and those aren't foolproof either, people. I mean, they can cut the device off and they can still run. But you know what? At least the effort was made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no matter what these judges want to say.
Yeah, it's kind of like a protective order.
Yeah, no matter what these judges want to say, no matter what Rodney wants to say, the perception that you've given the people is that it's okay to molest children, and there are no consequences if you are an elected official or a family member or a friend of an elected official. Maybe there's a friends and family handbook, and it is a benefit package for you people, and that in itself. And what I hate about this most is there are good cops out there.
Sure.
Really good cops.
Oh, yeah.
But they will take a black eye.
Oh, yeah.
Because of one of you who does this. And that's what is so shameful to all of this.
Yep.
Oh, I agree. Because it made me lose a lot of respect, an umbrella of it. I mean,
sure.
It just did. I mean,
rightfully so.
Just hearing their tires hit my gravel, literally, if I was outside, would about make me want to vomit.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I did anything. They just are. They lie. They're intimidating. It's weird. I had no idea. I worked in the prosecutor's office.
Yeah.
I know Kledheimer. I worked with these people.
Yeah.
And I became the plague. And I promise you, I'm not whining. They truly did these things. And it's not like on Law and Order on TV.
No.
I mean, and that's what somebody was talking to me about. There's the sheriff down south who would make up allegations, and he would make up these. And there's a lot of people that are out there that are very worried about my safety. They're very worried about me as an individual for speaking out.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess, people can do what they want.
Yeah.
But at this point, I think the community is beginning to see just how corrupt everything is. And how this creative writing skill that they believe, and I mean, it's a perfect example. Andrew Hanna is the son to Sam Hanna. Sam Hanna made up a huge story, and it convicted because he wanted this conviction. I mean, he wanted to be this, and it shows you how people of power can get skewed and it can hurt people, innocent people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you do such a thing? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Because once you do that to an innocent person, they can never get back what
Yep.
you've taken from them.
I think it runs so far and so deep, and it has so much to do with money that they can't see past that.
It's a
I mean,
culture.
why else would this? Some of this stuff is just very obvious. I don't know. It kind of floors me that it's so obvious.
But I
don't
have to
know.
believe the light is greater and brighter than the darkness out there.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
boy, there sure is a lot of darkness out there.
Oh yeah. Oh
That's
yeah.
There sure is.
And they can do what they want. I'm gonna fight for my kids. So
Oh,
And
good.
that's all we can do is continue to shine the light. I know I kind of put you on the spot tonight, and then you
that's
have
all
to
right.
relive
I
all
haven't.
of this.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. I haven't got to talk about it or whatever for a while. So.
Well, we hope this is good like counseling, like cathartic, like
Mhm.
you know,
Well, hopefully it helps somebody else too. I mean, you
Yeah.
never know. I know how I felt when everything happened. So
you're alone.
you don't,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that goes into not talking. I mean, they did have put some fear in me, but there was a lot of other reasons too. So
Sure.
yeah, yeah, things that you never see coming. So I don't know if there's somebody else out there that, maybe it reaches. I don't know.
Feel free if somebody's out there who's watching this, if you feel that you need help or you need to feel free to message me in Messenger.
Yeah, me too.
Jamie's probably the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Chris is the same way. You do have a voice. None of us would go out and say your name.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we can help
Right.
guide
Yeah.
you to somebody
Mm-hmm.
who can help you.
Yeah. 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 I've learned a lot through this, with all that. So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if there's someone on here that you feel comfortable reaching out to, please, most everybody, even the people in the comments, they
Mm-hmm.
generally will help somebody or
Yeah.
protect you and get you help. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
don't feel you're out there alone by any means. Reach out to us. I appreciate all the things that are coming into me, all the tips that come into me.
Yeah.
Jamie gets a lot of tips too. We share those
Mm-hmm.
with each other. We do research it. So if you think it's not coming out or we have it, but we have to make sure we can prove it before we can put it out.
Yep.
So
there's plenty of things I think, but I won't say it unless I have 100% proof. I know how they are. So
Right.
but we are watching
I'm
it. We
only
are
saying what I
exchanging
know.
it. Yeah, we are staying on top of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, very
I had
good.
a whole different way I was going this week when I was going to come on your show, and then this all came up, and
Yeah.
and Jamie was trying to cook a turkey, and I'm like, well, can
Yep.
you come on the show? And so it was a lot of
Uh-huh.
things going
No,
on.
actually, it's a ham. I have the oven on low, so I got to go get it out of the oven.
There
So
you go.
All right.
Happy
Good
All right,
night.
thanks,
Happy
Jamie.
Thanksgiving.
all right. See you guys.
All
See
right.
ya.
So it's all you, Chris. I hope
All right.
tonight we've inspired some people. I appreciate some people. We had a lot of people watching, and I thank everybody for joining in tonight.
Yeah, very good. I appreciate that. And as always, we're not going to be on tomorrow night. I might get on and do something on TikTok or might do something that way, or might do a little short. So be watching for that. But we're not going to do a live tomorrow because of the holiday. And then I've just decided the election's over. Alva decided it. He left out earlier and he said, see you guys on Sunday. So we are going to do the holiday thing. We're going to not be here tomorrow. So we just will be off a night, just an extra night. So we'll be off Thursday. We'll be off Friday and Saturday. We'll be back Sunday. But today, when I made the decision to call Katherine and say, hey, we're going to have you on, right before I called her, someone had called me and I missed it. And then they called me back. And I was like, well, I'm going to call Katherine, then I'm going to call this person. And I was like, nah. I was like, this person will talk just for a few minutes, and I'll talk to Katherine, and she'll talk for an hour. So I called this person back before I called Katherine, and this person then decided for the first time in a long time to unload a massive amount of shit on me, like 5 or 6 different corrupt stories about things going on in Delaware County. So I'm just letting you guys know. I don't know how many people are here from Delaware County. But if you are coming back on Sunday and into next week, we have a lot to talk about. There are some serious things going on with the Delaware County, with the building, the building and facilities manager, Steve Foster, with the not the crisis center that the Muncie's building, but the mental facility, the mental health facility, the drug treatment facility that the county's buying. We've got some stuff to cover with that. I've got some things going on with Muncie with some of the new hires, who they're going to hire for the building commissioner for Steve Selvey's position, and some more stuff about Dustin Clark. So we've got a busy week next week. I'm sure we'll talk to Katherine some point next week as well. So we are going to take off tomorrow for Thanksgiving. I will pop on and I'll put some stuff out, so we won't be radio silent. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you do when you subscribe so that you will know when we go live or put anything up. Also follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. It's all out there. So watch all of that stuff. But we will be off tomorrow. We'll be off Friday. We'll be off Saturday. And we will be back Sunday night at 9 p.m. here. But Katherine, I want to thank you for coming on and talking with us. And hope you have a good turkey day. And we'll keep in touch.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
All righty. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us. Hey, real quick, just remember, this is that asshole, the police officer from Anderson. Remember there's his charges. That's what he looks like. Horrible, despicable human being. This is Steve Sumner, wanted. So if you see this asshole out, call 911, call me, do something. And then this asshole here, she needs to resign, Diane Likens. She's a turd too. So that's all the same. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we will not be here tomorrow. We will not be here Friday. We will not be here Saturday. But I'll do something. So just be on the lookout for that. You guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Be thankful for everything that's out there, for all that's good and all that's bad and everything in between. There are things to be thankful for. I'm very thankful for all of you. I'd be about that much more thankful. Maybe hit the like before you scrammed out of here. So that would be fantastic. I am so happy. We just got an announcement on YouTube tonight that said we've broke some kind of thing. We've crushed something or something. I thought something bad happened. I thought it was telling me something bad happened, but it was like, no, you guys have done something good. Something really good has happened. And I've been like, oh my gosh, that's crazy, because nothing good hardly ever happens. Normally it's bad, but it says, let me pull this up here real quick. It just said, congratulations, new achievement. You're crushing it. So I don't know. We're crushing something, crushing hours watched, or our hours watched are doubling or something. So thank you. I thank you for all of that, because that's all you guys. We put the content out, you watch it or don't. So thank you. You guys are killing it there. Thank you guys for everything. Take care of yourselves. Have a great Turkey Day, a great weekend, great Black Friday. Be careful out there doing the Black Friday thing. Don't be ignorant. It'll still be there. Have a good Saturday, a good, a clear Sunday, a Cyber Monday, all that bullshit. So take care of yourselves. We'll see you back here Sunday night. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's Sunday the 1st? Sunday, December 1st. Holy shit. Sunday, December 1st. We'll see you back here on December 1st, folks. 9 p.m. Eastern. Take care of yourselves. God bless. Have a good evening. And goodbye.